back to the casting booth. I am Luminous. This is Ali. We are the Dignitas twins, which is, I'm not sure if I want to be part of the Dignitas. In any case, we're going to be casting Orange versus DK. Shots fired. And this is a fairly important match for DK. Orange, they're looking pretty good. It looks like they're going to be auto into the final bracket of the top 4 teams. For DK, they're 0-3 right now. They have to win this game, or unless some crazy miraculous thing happen where it involves a whole bunch of other teams winning, losing, and there's going to be a 4-way tie, they're going to be out.
Yeah, and everyone just DC'd from my game.
So, I can't hear Lumi. Well, there's nothing happening over here either.
Can they hear you on? Can they hear me on stream?
So they just saw me moving my arms and stuff.
Moving is off. You guys gotta push your mic down.
What?
You have to push the plug all the way in.
This one?
Yeah, make sure it clicks. It should click a couple of times.
Did you ever unplug it?
No.
Can you hear now? Looks like it's good.
Can you talk to me?
Hi.
There you go.
Hey, production guys doing their work. Welcome back. This is Luminous. This is Aoi. And we'll be catching Orange versus DK. Shout out to Kawa, who's been just doing an excellent job throughout the entire week. In fact, I think Kawa's our MVP. We're back with Orange versus DK. This is a fairly important match for DK, because if they lose this match, they're completely out of tournament, aside from some crazy miraculous thing happen where involving 4 or 5 teams tying, and then there's tiebreakers. For Orange, they're pretty much set, so this quote-unquote is a throwaway game for them. But obviously, they still want to improve their placement in the standing. Every game that you win and every rank that you go up higher, that means there's one less of best of 3 you have to play tomorrow. And of course, the game is not loading, so...
I think it's me that's not loading right now because I'm still stuck in the old lobby.
Can you leave it?
Can I
With the X?
disconnect?
Yo, there's cards.
Reconnect?
Check that.
Hey, there are cards. Hey, Mushi's playing 1. He's good at Shadow Fiend. Is that Ohio? He's playing 2.
Giant.
He's a gentle giant. Also born in 1991. That's KYXY. He's playing the 3. Extinct. He's playing the 4.
Okay, I can't do that.
He's also a drafter.
Okay.
Now he plays a 5.
Stop trolling poor Kawa.
I just want to make sure that Aoi's in the game. Looks like
Yeah,
he is.
I am in
But
the
we're
game, it's
still
not
not
me.
connecting, so...
I think someone else had the same problem with me because
It might actually be this
they...
one, because Gods, it says Gods is still in the game.
It's definitely not.
So they might have to rehost the lobby.
Hey, look, our twins are in the background.
Which one's me? Not that one.
Not that
I
one.
want the casters.
I want to be 2009. Yeah? Can I be 2009?
More cards.
All right. Hey, DK Burning. He's actually really good. He's playing the 1. Super. He's really good when he's not playing Omni Knight. He's playing the 2. All right, ROTK, which is actually quite questionable. Like, a lot of people say that he feeds a lot. I think he's actually pretty good. Like, decision making is a little bit questionable from time to time, but I think he's a really good player. He plays a 3. My main man, Ehomex, doesn't even play the Storm anymore.
Rejoin on your computer. They just kicked you.
Oh, it's okay, because I'm going to watch from there.
Well, you can't move the... Okay. They just kicked you and went.
Did they kick me?
No.
All right. Anyways, 357 or QQQ, 5-role players. I actually am very, very impressed with DK's support lineup between QQQ and X, and they actually been playing pretty well. Unfortunately, playing pretty well does not equal automatically W's, which they have not had a single one of them. And this should be the matchup. Are we finally in the game? Yes, we are. Let's actually do a real introduction here. I am Luminous. He's Aoi. I feel like we've been doing this introduction multiple times. This is DK versus Orange, and a very important match for both these teams. For Orange, they want to place higher in the group standing, so they have to play less and less opponents. For DK, this is more or less a do-or-die situation. Let's actually get into the draft. Orange will have the Radiant first pick and first ban, and DK will be on the Dire side. We saw DK play really well. I think that's the opening match that we cast, or I cast with LD, I believe. Or did we cast that?
I didn't
think
cast
we
that.
what?
I did not cast
You did not
that.
cast that. But I'm pretty sure you saw that match, and they played really well, so I had a high hope for them. Unfortunately, they just keep dropping games. Orange, to me, is a very beatable opponent, especially if Orange is making some critical mistakes here and there. But they're going to be banning out the Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, DK will be banning out the Life Stealer. There's a very high chance, I imagine, that one of these teams will be picking up a Lone Druid, because both these teams know how to use this hero quite well.
Yeah, that sounds about right for the draft. I just find it still interesting that the Eastern teams, they still ban out the Wisp against the Western teams, but they don't bother banning against Eastern teams. So that seems to me like once they start playing Wisp a lot more, that hero will be elevated to the first ban status that is in the Western scene. And I'm sort of just happy that it's not just that Wisp is only good against teams who can't play against him properly. Like, he's actually very, very strong, and the Chinese teams are starting to recognize this. Because there's a lot of like people who thought like, oh, Wisp is only good against non-Chinese teams.
Because the whole factor of, oh, they're a better map awareness.
Yeah, something like when you TP, they'll have 5 TPs coming in, which is actually ridiculous as a premise, but people went with it.
Well, we don't see any Wisp ban here so far, so that will reinforce our point. Lone Drew's going to get the ban out here, and that's going to allow a lot of kind of the quote-unquote OP hero sneak by. Bat Rider is one of them. Magnus, we saw S4 did a lot of work with. That's another. Any kind of other outstanding heroes that you've seen, basically from the past 2 days or so, where you did a lot of work and should deserve to get banned. Clockwork, I guess, sort of, I want to say a hit or miss. Mostly a miss so far. It looks like Magnus is going to get the ban
So
here by
they're
DK.
giving up the Bat Rider. I wonder if that's because they have a plan versus a hero. In these best of ones, you have one draft. So oftentimes teams will look at the other team to say, hey, let's form a good strategy. It seems even the Chinese teams are so confident in their own play. They know which other heroes other teams like, and they're going to tailor their picks towards that.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure whether we're at this stage of the tournament just yet, but is there a possibility, says DK thinks to himself, look, we're not going to make it to the top 4. Let's use this as a good practice match. Win a practice against Bat. Let's give away Bat.
No, I think there's no chance of that at all.
They're still
in terms
playing to
of,
win it.
Yeah, you always have to play to win, and in terms of playing for experience, you would want to play full force in a tournament regardless. If you need to practice something, you do that in houses, scrims, whatever you want to say.
All right, it's going to be a Bat Rider first pick. No surprises there. That's going to alleviate a ton of laning situation from Team Orange. I don't think Bat Rider is going to be going mid. The only one team that consistently go mid is going to be Alliance. And this is more looking like a jungle / long lane Bat.
Yeah, I think that Bat's really strong in the side lane just because middle lane it's hard to dive zone. You're sort of close to a tower, and oh, that's a first pick.
All right, so it looks like Aoi will be joining us with this cast because one of his favorite heroes is being picked up.
Oh, I'm so back after the last cast. There's a Visage. See, I love Visage because if Visage was Imba, the games would all be super excited because there'd be like New King diving, killing going on, right?
Right.
That's why Visage is such a great hero because he's fun to watch, he's fun to play. You can do really cool stuff with him, and I hope like as people start like using Visage a bit more to start split pushing with the birds a bit more, you get a lot of farm in that hero, and you can farm big items as a 4-row.
Yeah, we saw things like a medallion to Acceptor. We haven't saw the Rod of Atos just yet.
We saw once.
You saw once in the tournament? Okay.
Yeah, shoot, who was it? Someone went medallion earned into Atos.
Okay, sounds like a ton of supportive items.
Yeah, he got a lot of items for that hero, but that's because Visage sort of he's very hard to kill in teamfights, and he gets kills in teamfights. When that happens, you don't need the CS. You just slowly build up your gold. It's all reliable gold, so you don't lose that much even if you die. And when you survive a team fight, you just get a lot of farm because, say, your carries are dead, or 3 heroes on your team are dead. So you can just run around, and you'll get the farm instead of them.
Well, we also have seen Visage sometimes not actually working out well, and the teams that kind of successfully defeated Visage was when they avoided them. They say, you do your own thing in jungle. Visage kind of demoted into kind of pulling, stacking, which for another support, they're really happy for the free XP. For Visage, I think you might be kind of underutilizing him because you could get a ton more XP / gold if you just kill. Am I correct in saying that, or he still benefit a ton from the pulls?
It's more of a farm relative to their support.
So
if you can get the solo XP from multiple, say like there are 2 supports on their team that are sharing the XP, then you polling is going to go really well for you because you're going to be higher than them. If you have the same farm and levels as them, then Visage isn't as strong as when he's ahead.
Right, because you assume to be ahead when you just 3v3 them.
Yeah, so the reason when you're 3v3, Visage wins this lane, then he's automatically basically ahead of them. If it's polls, then he needs to be very efficient with his polling. He needs to basically be getting the solo XP from polls, grave chilling the creep so that he can kill it faster. And like getting double pulls, triple pulls. He's not really a hero that you want to go for an early tier 1 on. You want to get up the levels, and you can take that tier 1 very easily once you have like level 6, you have your birds out, you can wrap around with the birds, and you can push that tower with only 1 or 2 heroes. They need to rotate like 2 or 3 heroes just to defend it.
So from the sound of our discussion and questions, it seems like it's in Orange's best interest to have somehow avoid this tri-lane, if there is going to be a Visage tri-lane.
Yeah, I think that sounds accurate, and they're actually set up quite well to do that. both Darkseer and Batrider are heroes that can offlane very well, and they can just go to the jungle. So you don't even like if DK picks a very strong tri lane, they can be like Darkseer will win his lane. So you can pick really strong heroes to contest their tri lane and still come out on ahead just because you've won your solo lane.
Okay, so right now it seems like Orange, despite dealing with Visage, kind of one of the more nuke heavy tri lane hero, because they have good solos, they should be able to at least work okay in this drafting stage. DK taking a ton of time, by the way, in this last pickup here. They could pick up a good solo mid piece. We kind of talked about this yesterday with Queen of Pain versus Batrider matchup, if that's going to be even a solo mid matchup. But instead they're going to be going with the Nyx Assassin. We have also seen Nyx Assassin go mid, so far we're not really sure what heroes is going to go into what lane. But what I can be sure is that Nyx Assassin is actually a very good pickup against both Bat and Darkseer. We kind of talked about this yesterday when I think it was S4 Spat Rider versus Team Liquid Fluff and Stuff's Nyx Assassin.
Yeah.
We saw a whole bunch of time where Nyx Assassin uses Spy Carapace, kind of destroying the initiation of Bat Rider. Even later on when Nyx Assassin had a Blink Dagger, he'll blink into the fire and then pop the Spy Carapace to apply an instant stun against Bat. Really difficult and annoying for S4 to deal with. Another interaction in this game is that Darkseer is going to have a ton of problem in team fights because if you throw a single mana burn on him, then you're actually taking him off of wall mana or mech mana or vacuum mana. He's a very mana dependent hero, so I feel like this is a very, very smart pick coming out from DK.
It's also it forces Darkseer to use his wall before his vacuum. Usually you want to vacuum first because it sort of acts as a stun on the hero, so you can get your wall out. If you wall first, there's sort of more of a chance that you'll get disabled, because you want to be in range to vacuum and wall at the same place.
Right.
So vacuum wall first, vacuum into wall. You disable them. They can't really disable you. Wall first. They have your entire cast time, which is like 0.4. It's actually quite high on Darkseer, or I think it might actually be higher than that, 0.5, something like that, in order to disable you. Which at this level of play, it's quite a long time, and they definitely have the heroes to do it this game.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of long range disable, right? Earthshaker being one of them, Jakiro being another. So far, we haven't really been seeing it, and I imagine Visage and Nyx Assassin is going to be the two core support. Again, it doesn't have to, because we saw farming Visage from, I believe, LGD. We saw solo mid Nyx Assassin from multiple teams. So, again, these roles are not really intact, but that's my assumption going into this 4th and 5th pick. We're in the second stage, and it seems like Queen of Pain is going to get banned out. Does that ban give you any information at all? Like, is that now there's a higher possibility of Bat going mid?
I think it does sort of tell you that either Bat or Darkseer. Well, not really, because Queen of Pain is quite good versus Darkseer and Bat, I guess. So you just sort of think that, oh, one of those are going mid, but there's still the option of them picking up a different hero to go mid, say like Dragon Knight, and putting the Darkseer in the jungle, and Darkseer in the jungle with the DK mid is actually very strong. You Iron Shell yourself. Well, what happens when Darkseer jungle is does a small camp, stacks a hard camp, does that, kills a small camp again, gets a bottle. If he gets a bottle instead of a soul ring, he'll have the HP and mana to Iron Shell himself, run mid. Once the Iron Shell CD is up, he Iron Shells to DK.
DK, surges
him, DK stuns. They have a long time to get that double Iron Shell off, and it's free kills. So that's something that they might try. That would leave you with a Batrider off lane and Rubik plus carry bottom or something like that. It's not that bad of a setup, because like that DK Darkseer call is basically guaranteed kills, unless or their mid has to play super safe, or they have to sit a support there. Both situations where your ganks don't work are sort of a win for you, just because ganking mid with Darkseer, as long as you're doing it right, it doesn't take away from any of your farm time. You're only really doing the small camp and the hard camp on Radiant side, so
it's basically a win-win situation. If you don't get the gank off, you're not wasting a ton of time. If you do get the gank off, you're not wasting too much resource. We're gonna see a silencer ban coming out from DK, which a little bit surprising to me. Some of the Chinese team do use silencer as a support. Puck's gonna get banned out as well.
I mean, one of the reasons that they like to ban silencer here is because if Bat ever gets a jump on someone, you global, you pull him in, no one can save him.
Right, but for the same flip side, I feel like DK, if they want to pick up a silencer for themselves, it's not bad.
I guess that sort of means that Visage and Nyx want to place, like, I don't really like silencer as a support just because he's not very like do shit early. That's what like I like to say. He can't really move around to different lanes and gank.
He can gank well. He's not a really lane killing hero.
He does well in lane. Like, he's not a bad laner, but he doesn't kill, right? Like, he doesn't have that lockdown. He doesn't have a stun slow. Sure, he has some.
He needs help. He needs help from his others. Well, Nyx Assassin could provide a little bit of help. It seems like Nyx Assassin is actually better and better now on the mid lane, seeing some of these bans. they're really afraid of some of these kind of more potent mid heroes. Meanwhile, Keeper of Light is going to be the last band out. We're seeing a lot of these more standard bands, which makes me think that there's going to be some more of the non-standard heroes going mid, or being picked up on the last 4 picks. Kind of more excited about this drafting so far. It's a little bit more different compared to what we've seen so far, and the heroes being selected is going to be so far gearing towards a more action-packed.
It looks like a very, very like. Both teams want small little skirmishes to happen. Visage is very good at that. Batrider is very good at that. Rubik, Nyx are quite good at that. I mean, we'll see with the last 2 picks. Orange does have the option of getting a really ridiculously strong 5-man here. And then DK can't really take a team fight. They have to sort of split push and go for pickoffs. But DK's also set up to have a pretty strong 5-man. People sort of underrate how good... Well, people already think Nyx is sort of ridiculous. But I think they overrate his ability to pick heroes off, and they underrate the fact that he has 2.4 seconds of AoE stun from his Spike Carapace, and then his stun is also AoE and ridiculously long, and he's a very good team fighter because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
10 seconds
a lot of people
remaining.
kind of focus on the fact that Vendetta lets you roam around the map and gank. Yesterday, you also made a very interesting point when we're casting Fluff and Stuff's Nyx Assassins that sometimes even if you don't find those roaming gank off, just by going on the map, seeing where the wards are, seeing where the heroes are, you gain valuable information for your team. So he does a ton in fights, he does a ton outside of fights, where there's scouting, where there's actually finding those individual pickoffs. Speaking of pickoffs, I don't think he's going to find any this game. I imagine Orange is going to play rather well. There's supports, now it's going to be a lot more farm this game. I think earlier a lot of us were ragging on the Orange supports, saying that we'll have no gold.
Right, guys, you should be back on. Yep, go ahead.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Orange versus DK. We did have a power outage. I was trying to do a tweet commentary if we're not. I was tweeting Euros bans and whatever else, but let's quickly bring it back to draft. It's going to be Chen, Weaver, Rubik, Batrider, and Darkster for the Radiant side. DK is going to be sporting himself a Visage, Earthshaker, Nyx Assassin, Leshrac, and a Gyrocopter. Let's talk about a little bit about the stakes. Loser for DK. If they lose this match, they're probably out of the tournament. Orange, very important match for themselves as well because they're going to be plating for some seeding. They're definitely in for day 3. They just want to know how deep they could go into day 3, how many best of 3s match they would have to play. And again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. Aoi, what do you think about the last couple of pick of the draft here? Earthshaker, Leshrac, that's going to mean that we have a lot of long range initiation and follow-up and burst damage. It also means that Visage is going to be playing as a... No, it's going to be Leshrac. Leshrac playing as a farm, which is not that big a fan of. Meanwhile, the other side, there's a Weaver, so...
Yep. I mean, the Leshrac, one thing that the Leshrac farmer does do is it allows him to be in position to stun the Weaver right away, since it seems like they're going against the Weaver. Because if you're support, you're sort of a bit more far back, whereas Carry will right up there. Fissure is not that long, so you can chain up the Split Earth. If they get that combo off, he will die to the Soul Assumption, Fissure, Leshrac, Split Earth, and a couple auto attacks. The one thing I don't like about Orange's lineup is that, about DK's lineup is that it seems very rigid, whereas Orange can sort of move their Chen to wherever DK has a solo. Like, we've seen a bit about of Gyro versus Darkseer or Gyro versus a Batrider. It looks to be Darkseer, which I think Gyro does better in than versus Batrider. He can flak the creep out, wave out. He can rocket barrage if Darkseer tries to go on it. But that completely changes if there's a Chen there.
Right.
So I feel like DK, if they do this offensive tri lane and they put the Gyro at solo top, he's going to just get dove by the Chen creep. You're going to see Ironshot himself, 10 seconds later, Ironshot and the Chen creep, Surge Chen creep. It'll be a Stomper or a Netter or something like that, and Gyro will just feed, and then DK will have to break the tri lane. And none of these DK heroes really sack that well. I would say their best option would have probably been you have to like move the Visage up and leave Leshrac and Earthshaker down there. But then Chen is really good against dual lanes like that. So I would favor the laning stage of the draft to Orange. The one thing that DK does have going for them is that I think that in these they won't lose small skirmishes.
Yeah.
The team is so good at that.
They have the ton of range, they have a ton of initiation power. Fissure, if you catch one and it's Split is right there to follow up, they're dead. I mean, I just want to echo a point about the rigidness of the Radiant, or of the Dire. It's so easy for Net and of course now Extinct to be moving from lane to lane. They have that smoke of the seed, and no matter which lane they're not in, both Darkseer and Weaver will be absolutely fine. Ohio up the top lane playing the Darkseer. He's going to be just double Iron Shell straight up. He knows his support is going to be close by. Me on the bot lane, they have... Oh, Fissure, Spliff's going to... No, it's going to miss. They almost have to use this combo at the exact same time, or it's not going to work out. And any kind of miss combo, that is so costly for the Earthshaker because, well, his mana pool is not that high. He has the clarity immediately. And they're kind of wasting some precious time on the Sentry Ward. I guess QQQ and, of course, the Earthshaker could move off and gank mid, but that's somewhat obvious as well.
One really clever thing that Burning did to buy himself one wave of EXP, that's all he bought himself, was that he just sat in the hard camp at the left side so that Chen couldn't grab that right away. This made sure that Chen has to go all the way to the right side to grab a creep, and then he rocket barrage the creep wave down so that the Darkseer and the Rubik couldn't really pressure him that much. But this is looking really good for Orange still. They didn't ward the pull, so I expect Weaver to get this pull off, and it's alpha walls, which means that he can deny a full wave with just that single spot instead of having to stack it first.
Yeah, he would have to deny a half HP on his own creep.
Yeah.
But he will get the deny off if he wants to do the pull. So far, he's not really in position to do so. Maybe QQQ will disrupt the pull if it does end up happening. The bigger thing for me is that Burning has not got a single CS. Oh, he's got one, but he's not actually seen the creep die for the last couple of seconds. Darkseer is right up to his tower, but there's a Rubik in the jungle. There's a possibility of Chen ganking out. He's not playing with any wards. He does see Net right now hovering at the in the river spot, and now you can see that Burning up top, immediately going into the creep zone and trying to find himself a little bit of last hit and a little bit more EXP.
The thing is that even if this top lane and the bottom lane, they both sort of, like, top lane farms more for Orange, bottom lane farms more for DK. The problem is that mid lane, Batrider definitely beats a Nyx. Unless, like, Nyx gets really lucky on runes or something like that and he gets a gank. But Batrider should, like, almost always out-CS the Nyx pretty heavily.
Yeah, and also let's not forget about Extinct in the jungle. He hasn't actually came out at all yet, and I think that favors Orange really big time because DK does not know where the hell that Chen is, and they have to always play a little bit scared, so they're missing a little bit more CS. You can see Burning again up top. Now that he doesn't know where that Rubik and Chen is, he has to play ultra defensive. And Extinct doesn't even need to gank. He just could stay in the jungle if he really wants to and just rise up. And having a quick level 6 Chen is a big deal, but instead, they're making a gank. They won't find themselves Burning because Burning is playing ultra safe, which again, Orange is completely fine with. Because
I really hope that this Chen doesn't try to push his tower, he just AFK farms during this. Because I feel like if you push his tower, you give Burning somewhere to get EXP in space.
Right.
If you don't push, like, sure, you push a tower, you get 200x gold. Who does that really benefit at 4 minutes into the game? I mean, it's nice for the supports to get boots, but it doesn't really matter.
I mean,
and Weaver's going to Visage here at bottom.
Wow,
I think he's just gonna die.
He's got to be very careful where the Spliff's gonna miss. Mushi does have Sakuchi. The Fissure's gonna hit, and the creep wave, as well as a couple of right clicks, gonna do the job. Mushi likes to play ultra aggressive. He likes to make plays, but unfortunately, I don't think that was a position for him to do so. Not against all of these long range.
That was
nukes.
a bit weird, just because he knows he has sentries. If Visage gets Grave Chill on you, you basically don't attack him. So he must know that it's ridiculous. It's really risky to do that. Even like, and there's a fissure. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best play here for Mushi. He gave up first blood as a result, and he didn't have to make that. Well, looks like they were making a go here for Burning. Burning has been played so defensive and so well for the past couple of minutes or so, but now he's going to be in big trouble. The breach speed, the jukes are coming out. He's going left and forth, trying to juke. Oh no, the Surge Centaur. He's salving up as well. He's going to try to tangle through. He still have the tangle being applied. I think he might even survive this. He's going to TP out.
The Centaur still has his stomp.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's going to have to juke back and forth still again, and I think the Surge and Iron Shell will finally get the kill. But he had wasted a ton of time. Tier 1 tower has destroyed up top. Well, it's like you said, now he has a little bit of more breathing room to farm.
Yeah, I mean, he did waste some time, but this is a carry they're killing, so time wasted will pretty much always be in favor of Orange there.
Yeah.
I guess one thing that was nice was that Nyx was able to force Batrider home to heal, but that also means when Batrider is about to hit 6 with that full bottle, the full HP and mana, he actually can kill Nyx quite easily with his lasso. I mean, Nyx out-leveled him a little bit, just a tad, just because he forced him home. But he's definitely getting beat by a full, like, 12 CS at this point.
Yeah, 12 CS and 2 deny. You tell me you value deny. Simply, especially on the mid lane, where whoever hits level 6 or level 7 is going to be heavily valued. Super, though, looks like he's getting positioned to maybe Vendetta up top for a kill. Sentry Ward already laid down by the Radiant team. They expect a rotation. They're not going to get punished by it. So, as a result, looks like Super is going to get a mana burn off on the mid lane. trying to apply a little bit of pressure. He will be ball curling away. He does have 8 charges on the magic wand, but the physical damage output from KYXY, you gotta be very careful. Turn rates really slow down as well. He's out of mana. He's got spike, but unfortunately he's gonna get lifted.
Oh wow.
Super, making kind of a. I don't think he should have died there, to be completely honest. He kind of overstayed his welcome.
I mean, they were really good at wrapping around on him from multiple angles. But I think you're right. I think he could have just backed up a bit faster and just ran straight. But Visage gets a kill on the Weaver here. Weaver again, he tried to go for a kill, and it just doesn't happen when Grave Chill is there. I think he was really close on this one, but I think Leshak actually could have taken one more hit, and then no, he would have died if Weaver got one more hit. So, I mean, it's risky, and he paid for it, but it was sort of like a calculated risk. If he could have killed that Lashrak and gotten, and even if he died, he would have been a decent position.
Yeah, it would have been worth it if he got the EXP and the reliable go out of that one. But my question to you is, because your top lane is winning so hard, Birdie's got no farm compared to the Weaver, because you just got a mid lane kill against the Nyx Assassin, do you even need to take those calculated risks?
Yeah,
you could just stay back and just farm, right?
I feel like just sitting back would have been by far the best option. He also has to sort of know that Rubik and Chen started in the enemy jungle. Rubik didn't get any XP for quite a long time. Visage, because he was in 2 kills, he was level 5 at 6 minutes 20 seconds. That's a very level Visage. As we've seen multiple times.
And that's a support Visage.
Supports get under-leveled. And who are the 2? Oh, they're going on mid.
Yeah, well, they're going on top as well here. We'll watch mid right now. Super's going to get lifted back to the fire. And the Impel would hit. He will pop the Vendetta, and that will be the end of that one. Top lane looks like the disengage came out with the Shaker and Visage TP. But I think the point you were trying to make when you're comparing the levels of Visage and the enemy support is that as the enemy support has lower level than you, the higher level you're going to be comparatively a lot stronger. The kills is going to come a lot easier, and the disparity of level and gold is going to grow wider and wider, especially when QQQ hits level 6. Once he hits 6, like, the entire support lineup is his food.
Yeah,
like, he could easily get kills.
Like, we've seen in all the games, it's sort of funny. The games where support hero gets under-leveled is against Visage and Nyx. And again, these 2 heroes on DK, and that's their favorite. Like, when supports are under leveled, that's your favorite game as either of those heroes. And they have both of them. Again, it seems like that. And this is a solo mid Nyx, so those supports are even going to be more scared.
Well, I mean, given the fact that so far you could call the supports on the Radiant side somewhat under leveled, they have a 4 Rubik, a 5 Chens. They're not actually doing that bad, right? If Chen finds level 6, suddenly everybody feels a lot safer when there's a global heal on the map.
Yeah, for sure. That Chen heal is really going to help, but with this much burst, I'm not even sure that he can save someone from a Nyx and Visage sort of just running around the map killing people.
And that thing does have a long cooldown as well.
Yeah, they actually relatively recently nerfed the spell. It's now 140 seconds at level 1. So that added 20 seconds, it really does matter.
Bat Rider has himself a Blink Dagger, one of the earlier Blinks, but I think he was seen by this Observer War, so Dire will be backing off immediately as a result. Looks like Chen's going to be found in his own jungle. Stomp number 1, Stomp number 2, but right now they're not really following up with these Stomps. Back in the mid lane, Firefly getting used. Nyx Assassin using a Vendetta and getting hell out of there. Another Sentry Ward being dropped. These early game Sentry Ward, I love them. It's good. Unfortunately, it's going to be coming as a very, very heavy monetary cost on these low-level, low-form supports. This is like the 4th Sentry Ward I've seen so far coming out from Orange Esports.
At the same time, this is the 2nd time that Super's had to use his Vendetta to get away. That's basically 2 kills that were prevented by playing aggressive.
Well, and back in mid lane, Ohio trying to get in position. Super, any mana burn here so far. The Centaur is going to come in. The wrong lane fissure, and no block here. And
that was a pretty... And
well, here comes the Bat Rider. They're going to find RTK. Blink Dagger catches them. RTK slow this. One nuke comes in from Soul Assumption. Not going to be enough. Nyx is going to get lifted back up. The Fire doing a ton of damage. That's another kill. Fear's just going to come through. That's 2 Soul Assumption from QQQ. There's no kill going towards away to DK. He's out of mana. He's going to be backing off. And now Orange Esports looking to pressure the tier 1 mid tower. What exactly went wrong for DK there? They were sort of in good position. Was the Blink Dagger really that good?
What happened was they saw Centaurs at low, and they're like, hey, let's kill this. And they blew a Fissure, a Lashrak stun, and a Nyx stun just on Centaurs. And then Lashrak stayed in quite a up position to try to auto attack again. And your spells are all down, their spells are up, they have a Blink Bat Rider grip, the fight's going to go bad.
Right, so kind of getting a little bit bait out by the Centaurs. I guess perhaps Burning got a little bit out of that one for a wave or so, but he was actually forced to TP mid as well, so nothing's going well for DK right now. They're the team that's down 0-3 in terms of the, I guess, the tournament standing. Orange doing a lot better, and I'm not sure exactly where the DK could make a comeback. Do you think with the heroes alone that DK could make these comeback? Like you said, Visage nukes hard, but if these orange guys get highly level, his nukage is going to be comparatively a lot weaker.
I mean, the one thing that DK does have going for them is that they have by far the best carry in this game. Weaver, he's good, but this is also a 0-2 Weaver with less than 3 CS a minute. So the carry on the other team is not that good. They have very good early game heroes like Weaver, Rubik, Chen, Batrider, Darkseer. Very good early game, but as the game goes later, unless Weaver is really farmed, that's not that scary late. Whereas you have a lot of stuns from DK still, plus the Gyrocopter, and Gyrocopter alone is scary. And they have enough lockdown to just get all his flax down and blow people up. And Visage Zimba.
Well, Burning right now, not exactly in a position to be the Imba late game carry, although he's getting a ton of farm time, doing a little bit of pull himself. Looks like he failed that one. Visage, he's got level 6, so those spurs now were starting to become a big deal in terms of, again, disengaging, making sure that they could disrupt the change lane coming out from Orange. They have a ton of AoE defense. Is Lestrak going for Lightning? It looks like he's going to be going for Edict and Pulse. Kind of a little bit traditional of the Lestrak build, especially a little bit more carry variant? The carry version is what I'm trying. Variant. Fuck you, LD. In any case, Super is going to be farming here in the jungle, sharing a little bit of farm with his friend Burning.
And there's a smoke up here from Orange.
Yeah, they got to be finding someone. Actually using Mushi to bait here. So Mushi's going to be showing another Sentry being dropped down. I guess getting a Burning kill is going to be good, but here comes the entire squadron of the Direct. DK Burning's going to get picked up before the fight even starts. Here comes the Fissures that's going to hit on Ju. Burning is going to be focusing on Mushi. They got chain burst him down, but Hand of God comes heal, and looks like he won't have time lapse. No, he doesn't have mana to do so. Post Nova coming in, but there's a mech heal coming out there as well. Chen is going to make sure that every one of his allies is going to survive. Finally, QQQ is going to find himself one kill. Those birds are now locked down. They will respawn very quickly and do a ton more physical output. Actually, that was a fairly decent fight, in my opinion, for DK. They lost 1 for 2. Hand of God and mech was used, but they still got more kills. Really good play here by DK.
That was... I thought it was going to go way better for DK there. Actually, I was... Right before that fight was starting, I was going to be like, oh, this is so good for them. They're going to lose Gyro, but they're going to get 3-4 kills. But then that mech actually really surprised me. That was a very fast mech on the Darkseer, I think.
Yes,
so,
Darkseer.
For some reason, I didn't even think of it. I thought it's like, wow, Chen farmed
yeah,
such a
I was
fast
looking
mech.
at Chen
Like,
myself.
holy crap, he's enemy jungle. He's like 11-minute mech. He must have gotten like 8 Satyr spawns and gotten all farm. But the fast mech of the Darkseer really turned that fight around. And I'm actually surprised that with the mech, how well that went for DK. If you look at that fight, Leshak went so low. Perhaps if Weaver didn't die one of those 2 times at bot lane, they actually would have picked off the Leshak and the Weaver would have gotten away.
Right.
So we can see these small mistakes from the early, even though they're small, they sort of snowball a bit. Like, calculated risks when you're ahead are still risks. You don't want to give the enemy team any chance to catch up. And that's why you see teams like LGD, they don't let a tier 1 even fall when they're ahead.
Yeah, you don't want to give away any freebie because you don't know how much that freebie is going to snowball, or even, if you want to call it the butterfly effect, bring it that into
One thing
Dota.
that I do like is that Batrider, since he's gotten his Blink Dagger, every single lasso he's had has resulted in a really good pick off.
Or, yeah, pick off on the carry or a kill. So very well played. Looks like we have a little bit of technical issue, so let's bring the camera back to the, well, not to the nobody that's... Look, everybody's taking a break when we're casting. What the hell is going on? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Typical.
Back to the casting booth. I'm Luminous. He's Aoi. LD's lifting in the background. I'm not even sure what's going on. But we see, if you look at the Visage, which nobody can see on the screen right now, but if we look at Visage, 1600 gold, 1700 gold, he's pulling the support. Do you just go quick mech rush? This is kind of the few instances you have the instant go.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you don't have arcane boots, you don't really have the mana to spam mech and also the soul assumptions. I
think that you can get away with getting a mech and still having mana to soul assumption, just because you have a pretty the other team has quite a few spells that they spam throughout team fights, so you're gonna have extra charges from your magic wand. As long as you're using that as soon as it gets to 10, you're gonna have a decent mana pool with that. Mech isn't as mana intensive as mana intensive. I'm having so much trouble speaking
mana
English.
intensive. So I got you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Do we need to break you two up?
No, don't break
No.
us up. We got the
Look. Okay, mana intensive that people think just because it gives out 5 int.
Five
That's
stats, yeah.
That's 65 mana. So the mech actually only costs 85
Yeah.
for its
Close
first
to it.
usage. So it's not too bad. And wand is such an incredibly efficient item. like normally I would actually be like, oh, go Atos, go Atos. That item's so good. LD, are you crawling on the floor?
Yeah, he's trying to not be in the camera shot, which
Hello. Okay. Normally I'd say go Atos, but this is like one of the only games I'd say, Atos isn't too good. I mean, that's really rare coming from me. This is because
there's a Weaver on the map. There's a Surge on the map.
Yeah, you have Weaver, you have Surge, even Batrider. Sure, you can Atos him, but he'll have a Force Staff later on. I mean, it is good for killing Chen and Rubik, but as Visage this game, the heroes you really want to be focusing on are the Batrider, Darkseer, and Weaver. Those are sort of the core. Sure, you kill the Hen,
the Chen.
the Chen, but he's already going to get his heal off.
Right.
He's going to get his spells off. His creeps are still going to be there, regardless of if you kill it or not. Rubik, okay. Like, he's not stealing anything super huge. He's not stealing a Ravage, really. Echo Slam isn't as good.
Fissure's a good spell to steal.
Fissure's a very good spell to steal, but that, again, that's going to come off in the beginning of the fight. I mean, if you can pick the support off, that's very good, but in teamfights, I'd really be going for the Batrider. Because if you can stop that lasso from happening, then your carry will get out of stun. It'll probably be Gyro. He'll get extra attacks off. Like, I can really see he blinks in, grabs Gyro, Nick stuns him with Spike Carapace. Visage just blows him up with the Earthshaker stun.
Well, let's not forget that there's a mech on the Darkseer, so that's going to be somewhat difficult.
And
the Chen heal, so
but
there's
so much nuke.
Yeah, well, as much nuke as DK has, there's a ton of healing coming out from Orange as well. And these heals came from a very early time. You were completely surprised by how early the mech came in that team fight, and I'm actually personally a little bit surprised how Orange lost that fight. Because they got an instant pick off with Gyrocopter. It's a 5v4 team fight. Sure, you're down a lasso, but you still have your Flame Break, you still have your Napalms, you still have all your heals up. What really for me was they lacked the burst damage to kill Leshrac. Leshrac was in the middle of the team fight. He got down to basically 0 or almost at 100 HP, 100 mana. He was in the middle, just post Nova on your entire team. And sure, you have heal, but the AoE damage is completely insane.
That was definitely well played by Leshrac. Before that team fight, I was actually thinking of criticizing the fact that he went Edict over Lightning for this particular lineup. Usually I'm like, oh, I really don't like Lightning. I like
that's what you said yesterday.
Stats. Yeah. But in this lineup, I feel like you want that burst damage. Because you want to win all these early team fights before Darkseer gets pipe. If you're losing a team fight with this lineup early on, before pipe, then there's probably going to be an issue when they get their pipe.
Yep. So they just won themselves a big team fight for a DK. And earlier when we were talking about Snowball, how Leshrac being able to survive on the bot, and that now they're able to win a team fight because of that. Let's talk about the Snowball that could happen in a couple more minutes. Leshrac won himself a big team fight. Visage won himself a big team fight. Now the possibility of an early mech coming in. What about Earthshaker? If he gets Arcane into a blink, how will that affect how this game's going to go?
I mean, more than anything, Earthshaker with a blink sort of gives them an instant lockdown so that Weaver has to be scared. I mean, Nyx is good at that already, but if they have... like
the more you have, the better.
The more you have, the better. Like, something that a lot of carry players do is like, hey, I'm going to farm safe, I'm going to farm safe. There's a Nyx on the map, I'm going to go, like, auto-control, farm everything, it farms super fast. But if you're Earthshaker with a blink, he can't do that anymore. So just by the presence of the item being there, it's going to change the Weaver's farming pattern.
Yep.
I mean, Fissure is good and all as a long-range initiation, but it's nothing like a 3-chain stun from Earthshaker. Because that, like, Fissure, I feel like you can't always get Leshrac split Earth off after.
Right.
Unless you have, like, Blink Dagger on Leshrac, but I don't think he'll go that against Orange's team. He needs to tank up a bit more before that. So, Earthshaker Blink will be definitely good. Another thing that could happen, that I really hope happens actually, is Visage will be very active with the birds when they're ganking someone like Weaver. You can definitely kill him if you Fissure, and you get the Visage birds wrapping around from the fog in the trees, and you get chain stuns off, and then you get the Visage nuke off.
That sounds like it's really hard to do.
It's surprisingly easy in my opinion, but I haven't seen
you're
the Chinese
also better than everybody else.
No,
so.
well, just by playing it a lot of times, right? Like, Visage is a hero that you need to play a lot of times. Like, we see with the Wisp, the Visage, heroes that I don't know, like, they don't do the same tricks that Western players do, I feel. Even though mechanically, they're probably way more solid.
Okay. That's a fair point. I mean, the bird micros, we haven't been really seeing it too much in like, you know, you talk about split pushing, you're talking about farming neutrals with it. We haven't been seeing too much of that from the Chinese Visage. What we have been seeing is some clutch drops on the familiars, like stunning 4-man, stunning 5-man, or counter initiating.
And they're very good at every time Soul Assumption's up, they throw it out there.
Yeah.
It'll hit someone.
They will find a target. It's not the Visage I play, which I spend the whole team fight migrating
you
my
need to
bird.
wait for them to have this much HP and then you chaos, right?
Chaos, yeah. Or kill ensure, in any case.
Kill secure.
Kill secure.
Kill secure.
We're waiting for, I believe, Mushi to connect back. It seems like his PC is crashing multiple times. And this is a very good time to tell more jokes, if you have any. You're out of
Wow.
jokes. I got no joke.
You didn't even tell one.
Exactly. I have no joke. Like my joke, I don't prepare them. They just come and we're gonna look at the player profiles. The one is Mushi, guys.
Oh, we're not
No?
looking at them anymore.
Okay. Thank you, Kyle. By the way, this is somewhat of a downtime. This is currently, I believe, 1 a.m. We just had a meal of Chipotle, and everybody else is taking a break because there's going to be a long day. This is the 5th out of 9 matches that we'll be casting. I think LD and Blitz, or was it God and Blitz, will be joining us later on. Everybody's somewhat tired. They recuperated their energy. We're kind of the boys that is bringing you guys to a misstretch. Also, you're going to be cooking a little bit of bacon and eggs a little bit later
Yeah,
on,
we're
right?
gonna have breakfast at 4 a.m.
That's
because that's when we wake up.
That's-
Or stay up to cast.
Our sleep schedule has been so bad for the
We'll
past...
pretend that we're waking up at 6 a.m. or we're healthy enough to do that.
I don't know.
At least
but,
Dignitas is happy.
yeah, Dignitas is getting a ton of screen time. I don't even know why I'm wearing Dignitas shirt. It's actually really, really hot. But what we are looking for, aside from the conclusion, the exciting conclusion of this tournament, which will happen tomorrow, definitely tune in for that, is our day off. Because we actually have a day off between player DC. Yes. Thank you, Kawa.
Okay, so let's go back to the game for one thing. I actually see something that's sort of important. If you look at Batrider's build right now,
Okay.
it's 4 in Sticky, 1 in Flamebreak, and 3 in Firefly, 1 in Octane. I think I did really disagree with maxing Firefly like this. I feel like Flamebreak is such a good spell. I really would prefer for 3-4-2-1 build by level 10.
Okay.
So what that lets you do is it really allows you to defend pushes without having to waste a spell as important as Firefly. And it allows you to burst heroes down, because while we've been talking a lot about DK's burst ability, like from Dashak, Earthshaker, Nyx, Visage, Chen, Batrider, Rubik are also pretty decent burst.
Mm-hmm.
They can definitely, if someone goes out of position, you can definitely burst them down. One thing that sometimes is a problem when you have this fast of a blink is that Flamebreak's mana cost goes up pretty high. It goes from 80 to 140. But in my opinion, Batrider has enough of a pool. You have a body of a wand. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue.
Here, I do want to ask you a quick question about the Batrider skill build. You talk about you prefer having Flamebreak Max in terms of having a better defensive hero in the sense of stopping pushes.
It's also good because you can burst heroes down as an offensive means.
Okay, just doing more damage overall. Personally, I've started to learn playing jungle Bat versus Batrider in the mid lane. How does the skill build actually change? Or does it change? Do you have a standard build? It's a cookie cutter throughout, or
It really depends on your matchup for laning. For example, against a Gyrocopter as Batrider, I would go his Sticky first, then I would get Flamebreak, and then I would get Stick again.
and
the
then
only
you get
time
Fly for like 4?
Yeah, the only time I wouldn't do that is if I think I can do what YYF did, and he stacked the hard camp, killed that with his Firefly, and then rotated out because he knew the supports would come before his L4 and could get a solo kill and burning. Was it burning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and so time I would deviate from that. In the jungle, I think that you need Firefly at level 1,
Right.
so you can kill the small camp.
And then you keep stacking the big camp.
Yep. And then you get Sticky at level 2, level 3. You get I prefer to get Flamebreak at level 4.
Uh-huh.
Just because usually you hit level 4 at 3 minutes. What you do is you kill the small camp really quickly with your first Firefly. Then you go stack the big camp. You kill the small camp again with Firefly.
Right.
You stack the big camp, and then you kill that because you're level 2 from the 2 small camp kills, and that puts you at level 4 really, really early. You're almost out of mana by then, so you go back and heal.
Base. You
And then
TP with boots.
You TP with boots to a lane, and then you can make something happen very early. It's sort of unexpected, or you can just go back. Like the counts are respawning anyway, so the base heal is not that bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. In lane, I've seen a lot of things actually. Personally, I like to go a 2-1-2 build by level 5.
Okay.
But how you get there really depends. You can, like for mid lane, you might want to go 2-0-2 so that you can push out the lane, get a bit more rune control, but then you want that flame break at level 5 just because it's so good to be able to flame break them back into your ultimate.
So it really depends.
Yeah.
Is
Batriders, yeah, I mean, the short answer is it depends.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, kind of Batrider, I find it's a lot more unique in compared to other heroes like Earthshaker.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to be getting basically 99% of the time. This hero does have a very kind of a big depth of how you skill them and how you play him. And well, you kind of don't like KYXY's skill build, or at least it's not the most optimal skill build, but so far they're doing okay. The score is 5-4 right now.
I mean, he's definitely been finding picks. Like, these mistakes that I'm pointing out, in my opinion, they're mistakes. The players might think differently. They're not any game-breaking things, because these players are more than good enough to do all the things right to a certain extent. I just feel like if you can fix some more optimal plays, they could play even better. Example, like, Loda's Phantom Lancer. He played really well. He didn't get picked off at all.
Yeah.
But I felt like if he had gone a different skill build, Micro Illusion a bit better, he could have played even better. And when you're playing at this low Dota, you're basically striving for perfection. You shouldn't be going like, wow, I'm playing so well. Don't criticize me at all. Because as soon as you do that, you're not going to get any better, and people are going to pass you.
I see. Okay, it's a very, very Asian way of looking at things, which I completely approve. This is a mood, by the way, about
Asian power? Yeah. Complete with awkward Asian high
Don't
fives.
even say anything, LD.
LD's just jealous.
LD's,
You know, these Dignitas hoodies are really nice. He probably wants one.
they're really hot as well.
This is a bit hot in here.
We can't turn on
We
the
just
AC.
needed to be twins.
This is a proper white man high five. There you go.
They couldn't
There,
even
across the
they
room.
couldn't even see it.
Doesn't matter.
What happened was LD high fived himself because no one wants to touch him right now. He's still sweaty and gross. He just went like this. Oh god, is he gonna stab me?
He's gonna stab you when you're
Nothing.
nothing.
Yo, LD's like my favorite person here.
Yeah. me
Second
too.
to you, because you're like my twin.
There you go.
You have to like your twin. I think that's the rule.
By the way, we've been trying very hard to get Super Smash Brother Melee on.
Oh, yo.
If you live in the area, right? Can we make the shout out to like 30,000 or how many people watching? If you live in the West Covina area and you have a GameCube or a GameCube disc of Super Smash Bros. Melee, come talk to us.
Come talk to us.
Because we've been trying to get this thing going for like the past.
We'll give you a tour around the studio.
Yeah.
Anything you want. I'll buy you In and Out, which is the best food ever.
Wow.
You don't get to give away tours.
Are you,
It's not
we
your
don't?
place.
Okay, well, I'll beg LD to allow us to give you a tour. And then, like, look at what we've done to try to play Melee. We've tried 2 different Wiis.
Yeah.
We went out to actually buy Melee.
You're right.
We've brought a GameCube over.
Which didn't work.
We've spent probably 2 hours trying to Google how to fix these problems. Nothing works.
That's been a very, very sad time.
It is quite sad.
Yeah.
But Weaver's reconnecting to a game here.
Well, that's the 7th reconnect.
Oh,
Hopefully.
is it? So
hopefully
let's
it's,
just go through the items a bit. I want to start with, well, I'd say Chen is pretty standard. You get this arcane boot so you can give manager creeps, continue to stomp stuff.
Wait, Kyle, can you bring it back to the game screen real fast so
Yeah.
we could talk about the in-game choices?
So you have Weaver. He's going for sort of the I'm behind build. Let me actually contribute something to our team. That's the fast drums.
Okay.
I think that he'll follow that with treads. And I hope he goes Mantinix. The reason I hope he goes Mantinix is because it allows him to split push really well and just do some more damage. If he goes something like
Well,
Lincoln's,
You have an unwielding love for Yasha and Manta. I feel like it's a good item, but do you want BKB against this lineup? Like,
oh,
it's a
BKB is
ton,
actually
it's a ton of
BKB
nukes,
is
right?
actually probably a better choice. You're
Okay.
absolutely right. I
You
don't-
just love Manta and
I
split
really
pushing.
do love Manta.
Yeah, you do.
So, yeah, no, BKB is the right choice here.
Okay, so go drums. Make sure you do
Treads on
something.
BKB is actually a lot of damage on Weaver.
Yeah. I mean, it's the fact that you could survive for so long, and the fact that the people that you're shooting are like Leshrac and Weaver, or sorry, Nyx Assassin, Shaker. When you're BKB'd up, they can't do anything to you. So
That's absolutely right. And if you ever catch that Earthshaker out of position, get bugs on him, you BKB, you Sakuchi at him, he's going to die. Earthshaker, we've been talking a lot about how Visage has had quite a bit of farm. He has 1,700 gold. Earthshaker has nothing.
right.
He has the lowest net worth right now, other than a disconnected Weaver, which doesn't really count. So you're going to be able to chase him down and kill him, which is actually huge because if Earthshaker can stay in the back lines and get 2-3 fissures off even, it's going to be huge for the team fight. Like, that's a lot of damage and, more importantly, a lot of lockdown.
Uh huh.
Okay,
How is he actually getting such a low net worth? He's got 003. Like, it's not like he's playing. Is he just on?
well, I mean, he has one last hit. I have this feeling that he hasn't been in the AoE code for the kills.
Uh-huh.
What happens is there's no assist code for Dota. Assists don't mean anything
Right.
other than
It's
making
actually a number. Yeah.
it's just a number. What the gold that you get for kills is you have to be within 1,000 AoE.
Was it 1250? Was that? Are you sure it's 1,000?
I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 because EXP was 1,000 before, and then they buffed EXP from creep kills to 1,200,
Okay.
and they left denies at 1,000.
Right.
So if someone denies it, you don't get EXP if you're at 1,100. Whereas if they don't deny it, you do.
Very important to learn. Which, by the way, a small segue before we talk about Earthshaker's low GPM. Do you use the circle around your hero thing?
I think that yeah, I really agree with using it. I don't use it in matches or anything else because sometimes it can be a bit distracting to me. But I definitely used it so I could get a pretty good feel of it. You want like little tricks and tools like that. It really helps you, but I feel like you don't. Well, personally, I didn't want to become reliant on it because I didn't know if it would be allowed at a tournament like the international.
Right.
I wasn't sure if we could use console commands to.
For those of you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's a console command that allows you to set a circle around your hero.
Dota I'm sure someone put in chat, but
Yeah,
like Dota
like a
range underscore
range
finder
indicator.
number.
Right.
I really like 1,000 for that or
For
1,200.
EXP?
Yeah,
For-
it's EXP. It's also the bear tether range is somewhere similar to
Yeah,
that. I think it's
Emerald
1,100.
Bulldog use it for his bear. I seen Internal Envy when he
I
plays
actually don't know
anti-mage.
the bear's tether range exactly, even though I play that hero so much.
You
just
do it by
sort of
feel. Yeah, you do it by feel.
And there's a little X above it, but no, I do it by feel. It really does help. Something else. What other console command? There's some other important console command I'm forgetting.
Well, we'll
You
talk
probably-
about it.
I'll come back to it later. I'll figure it out. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the wrong thing. Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I guess is there anything else? Or back to Earthshaker build?
Yeah, back to Earthshaker.
Oh,
Why?
sorry, GPM.
Yeah, he's low.
So-
and he's not being involved
Yeah.
in the AOE.
I think that
range.
he's been fissuring. It gets an assist, but then he's been getting quite low in fights. And since they have a Weaver, they have a Batrider, they have a Darkseer, 3 very good chasing heroes, as well as Chen creeps. He can't fight Chen creeps. That's like 1 hero each, so 6 heroes that can chase the Earthshaker away.
So he's just getting out of there
Yeah.
early. He's not getting the
I mean,
experience.
This is good play by the Earthshaker because he's getting his spells off. He's not dying. I would have preferred he sort of sneaks in to get a little bit of AOE gold. I think that's a bit of something that people don't do enough. They don't just sort of like stay on the side and like know, if I go a bit forward, I'm at no risk, I can get AOE gold. They're just like, oh, no risk, but I can't cast any spells, so I can't do anything. I can't auto attack, can't cast spells. Let's just get out. But if you can get that extra EXP and gold on the support, it's quite nice.
Wait, hold on. To contact studio with SSBM, call not that number. Please just tweet it at AUI or me, which is at AUI 2000, right?
Yeah, AO underscore 2000.
Or at AUI underscore 2000 or at Luminous Inverse. We will contact you immediately. I will
Yeah.
drop the cast and
We're
be
actually
like,
watching Twitter right now,
yeah,
like during the cast.
exactly. We have like a monitor on the side and be like, okay. But
And-
seriously, that's the place to go if you
and
have.
Something else that's sort of interesting is that if the CPU, like the Radiant or the Dire Towers, kill a hero, you actually get more gold because you get extra AoE gold and the gold gets split between your team.
Well, since we have all the time in the world on Dairycraft, what is actually your thought in terms of should players actually actively try to last set towers, or should you
right.
let creeps last at it
So-
and then
Here's sort of the deal with last setting towers. If someone last sets a tower, your entire team gets about 50 or 100 gold less.
but that
Yeah, no, just
collectively,
collectively,
everybody, yeah.
But that one hero gets more. So if you need to hit a timing or you have a very farm dependent hero, I think that's still worth it to last it. Another thing is the hero that last hits a tower does not get reliable gold, which is actually pretty important.
Wait, if a creep last hits it, everybody gets.
everyone gets reliable gold.
Okay.
If a hero last hits it, everyone else but him gets reliable gold. But the 500, I usually say 536. That's the number that pops in my mind. I don't know why.
I don't think it's 536.
It's like 200 plus.
It's like a range,
Yeah,
right?
it's a range from
Okay.
200 plus 200 plus 400 or something like that. Or I don't know the precise number. It's sort of weird there. But he doesn't get reliable gold for that. So that means it's a bit weaker in terms of gold. It's a bit worse, especially for saving at buyback. Because how buyback works is that it'll spend your reliable gold first, and you can't lose your reliable gold when you die. So even if you have 900 buyback costs, 950 reliable gold, and only 1,000 total gold, you will always lose.
I don't mind being a pretty lady. They had her name up, and I was next to the.
Mine is cooler than yours.
Well,
He was waving, and
Well-
everyone loved him.
well,
Everyone was
widow
like, Yo,
woman."
I love that guy who's waving. Yeah.
have I ever told you that Lumi sounds like a girl name to me?
Have I ever told you that you named yourself that?
I name myself Luminous, but everybody calls me Lumi.
It's
And
for a reason.
well, I can't even argue back. All right, we were talking about.
Let's move on to some. What were we talking? Oh, so I
reliable
think
goal.
that support should basically never last at the tower, because not only are they getting more gold for just themselves, less for the carry, but it's also getting less reliable gold. And
Sure.
reliable gold is very important on supports, because you see supports die in a lot of team fights, so they're losing this gold. Hey, LD, do you think you could check how much gold a hero loses on death? just so that we don't give misinformation out to the stream. Should be on the Dota wiki or something like that.
You
I prefer
lose.
misinformation myself, but since you insist.
There's like a complicated formula that depends
No,
on.
losing gold is just your
Oh,
level
sh-
times a number. Yeah, that's
Your level times 20 then.
no. It's like 30 or 40. It's not 25. It's not 20.
Okay, well.
I think no, it's 30 because when you die at level 25, you lose 750
So to
gold.
go. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, it's 30. Yeah.
So it's 30. We don't need you anymore, LD. Thank you for your effort. Too slow.
Look at this guy.
He's still looking because he thinks I'm wrong. He just wants to like make me look bad. Am I? Christ, I lost.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. with the bloodstone, you lose 25 gold less for every bloodstone charge. So when you're level 25 on your carry gyrocopter and you have a bloodstone, you lose less gold for saving for buyback.
Hey man, I heard carry gyro with Bloodstone and Acceptor.
Yeah.
Game-winning moves.
But let's go on to talking a bit about the items, I guess. Or well, they have the stream on, so can't do that.
It's okay. We can get to watch Lumi.
Well,
again.
we can just talk about a couple more mechanics, I guess. Oh, we can watch Lumi again.
Yeah, the girl Lumi.
Hey,
All right,
go back
we're
to
back.
Lumi.
All right.
Like the.
No, we're in the game.
Okay, we're in the game.
Talk
again.
about the game.
Okay, so Nyx has opted to. You see some Nyxes, they go for a max mana burn build.
Right.
Some go for a max spike carapace. On paper, the max mana burn sounds really good because every 4 seconds you do like 1 billion damage. But the thing is, against hey, I'm under 21. You shouldn't put that near me.
Yeah.
Against against a bat rider, I feel like the spike carapace is so important just because locking him down for 0.6 seconds is good. I mean, he's there, but it's not really enough to land something like a Lashrak stun. So if you lock him down for 2.4 seconds before he gets the force staff out, he'll probably just die to all your nukes. It doesn't matter. You have a mech, you have a channel, you have a pipe. When he's that far in because he's blinking in to pick off someone, he's in really ill positions. And you have what? Let's count how many nukes. Like Visage has like 1.5 nukes. Earthshaker has a nuke. Lashrak has 2 nukes. Nyx has 2 nukes, and they're very high damage. I lost my count because
People are putting random shit on the table now. Like, what the fuck's going on? What is this? Is this your weightlifting thing?
this is how I lift apparently.
What is this? Honey?
Lean muscle recovery, nutrition.
This is not honey.
Weight
Is this honey?
management. No, that's mustard, isn't it? Honey mustard.
Honey, honey mustard. Honey mustard with real honey. All right.
You guys were so confused about that.
Okay.
Well, this is supposed to be my drink, right? Yeah. So they have a lot of I really enjoy the fact that he went Spike Carapace first. In addition, it's also very good against Darkseer, as we talked about before. If he ever vacuums a Spike Carapace Nyx, he's not getting wall off when they're all vacuumed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to stun him for a long time. It's also sort of nice against Weaver, because if you Spike Carapace a bug, it actually stuns a Weaver.
Oh,
So
nice.
we've talked about how Weaver can sort of go on the Earthshaker and chase him down. They have good heroes for that. But if you can stun the Weaver during that, one thing to note is, of course, BKB will block the next stun. So if he gets his BKB, he can still go on the Earthshaker.
I was actually, for a second, when you're talking about the decision to level up Mana Burn versus Spike, I was saying, it seems like you want to level up Mana Burn because
It's so good versus Darkseer, so
Yeah,
good versus Bat.
Darkseer,
so
Bat,
even Weaver.
Chen. Yeah, if you
even
could-
Weaver, Chen,
whoever.
and Rubik, like anyone. But I feel like the lockdown is more important when you already have this much nuke.
Okay.
You want to sort of balance your team around being like, it doesn't matter if you have all this nuke if you can't catch them to use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. But it is true that if you can get 4 mana burns off a team fight, you sort of just win from that too. That's like 2,000 nuke damage, plus stuns, plus your vendetta.
Plus
so
the Mana Burn itself.
it's
Like-
just that I feel since he's solo mid, who have the levels to stop the Batrider before he gets his force staff. It's a bit harder to do once Batrider has his force staff.
Uh-huh.
But since he was solo mid, he'll have extra levels. He can level up the mana burn when it's scaling better against those heroes. As support, if you need to get the level 4 mana burn, then you need to do it right away because you're not going to get to that level 14 to have that max later.
For Solomon Nyx Assassin, he could
I mean,
find it eventually.
the other option is you could sort of do a mix of the two. You could do 3 in the Spike Carapace and max it by 13, which is really not that bad. I mean, 1.8 seconds on, 2.4 seconds on, they're both definitely enough to get all your spells off against them.
Okay.
And the people are saying go with the period at the end because he's very happy with his computer crashing. That's like the most passive aggressive thing. You're like
Adding a period to your
yeah,
phrases.
don't you think so? Like when you have a one word
No,
thing.
I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
called good punctuation. But in any case,
Well,
If you could bring it back, Kawa, to the actual game screen, the game screen back. Do you appreciate for not us? Thank you. All right, Blink did
gets
not.
sent
No,
off.
the birds. What a play! The birds are right there, immediate stun. Blink did deny with a double
that was a
damage.
pretty nice try.
Yeah, a double damage. Hey, why the hell on that? So, but in any case, just to give everybody a quick revisit, because we've talked about everything, including mechanics and Super Smash Bros, which again tweeted at
Yeah,
Luminous.
tweeted at one of us. I'm actually gonna check my Twitter right now instead of looking at the game.
But the score is 5-4. Goal check right now is 2,000 gold lead for DK. The big thing is that there's a ton of healing coming out from the Radiant side, the mech as well as the Hand of God. But there's simply just a lot more damage coming out from
So
DK.
Super Saiyan Zam has tweeted me that. Okay, I'm going back to the game. Right now, it looks like Orange really wants to farm another item, but every time Lasso's up, they want to force something to happen. I think this is mainly because the Weaver is so underfarmed right now. If we look at the net worth tab that's on, Weaver is way down at the bottom. He has less than the Nyx and the Visage on the other team.
Yeah, and it's because of those risks that he took,
Yeah.
and it really wasn't rewarding.
And he died in a team fight, which always hurts as a carry. It's so much gold loss when you just die in a team fight. So what they're doing is, they're 4-man smoking, trying to force a fight, and that's just to give Weaver the space to farm, basically.
Well, it looks like the smoke is going to be dispelled. RTK is not going to see anything. Surge is going to be used on the bat. He's waiting for his allies to come through. No jump just yet. Weaver is in position. They were waiting for that. And it looks like the Radiant or the Dire team actually doesn't
Can't go
know.
in Visage
They will
here.
see the centaur coming in. The
goes on
blink
the-
initiation. It gets stunned. Call down comes through as well. The Hand of God and Mech perhaps being used. And DK just actually blown up. He just died. Stomp's going to come through from the spugs are coming right in. But it looks like Mushi's going to die a second time. Yes, Sentry is going to be dropped down. Well played. They're going to search himself back out. MMY is going to have. These Centaur Stomps are actually really legit
He
despite
has a fissure.
the
Oh,
fissure, well,
not
not
quite.
going to be in range. The Centaur Stomp into Telekinesis lift, very well played. Unfortunately, Weaver died a big, the 4th time in a row, Bat Rider died initiating.
And that was quite poorly executed by Orange, I feel like when you have that Bat Rider, you're able to scout out what's going to happen. He should have sort of known that. If he jumps on the Lashak there, he can't jump the Visage first of all. If he jumps the Lashak, there's a Nyx right there. I'm pretty sure he had vision of him. So, I mean, sure, you use the smoke, and you're like, oh, I need to make something happen, but you want to still be like, look around, see what else you can do. If he had perhaps went more to the left on the gyro, DK was a bit more
Well,
split up.
Super and a little bit trouble. He's going to pop a Spike Carapace, and now it looks like, oh no, he's looking like he got stunned, and these Spurs are doing a ton of damage. The nuke's going to come, and the cooldown's going to fly through, and the KYXY is going to get complete. Look at how long it was locked down. Mushi's coming by back. He's going to eat an Echo. He's out of time lapse. The birds are stunning the invisible Weaver, and that's another double death on these two same carries.
And they lost all the Chen creeps.
They lost the chain creep. The tier 1 tower is going to go down. I mean, why are they trying to desperately re-engage DK and over again? Can't they just in theory farm? Or is this more going back to the point that you said earlier that DK by far has a better late game? You just can't try to out-farm Burning at this point in the game.
My initial thought was that they were trying to buy Weaver space to farm.
Yeah, but
he's been
coming
coming into team fights.
Yeah, he's coming.
So maybe they feel like they're in a really bad spot just because their carries are underfarmed and DK has Visage, who's gonna just win everything.
Well,
No, that's not why. But I feel like there was a bit miscalled by Orange, I would say, to just continuously fight like that. I mean, you do have the Blink Lasso, but if you want to do that, you definitely need Darkseer to grab wall at level like 9, level 8 even. Because if you're fighting a 5v5, it doesn't matter if Vacuum is so small, if you can hit a 2 or 3 man wall. It's really good to hit those early walls. It's 150 damage, plus the illusions get an auto attack off right away. So it's more like a 200 damage nuke, and it creates a lot of chaos in team fights. It soaks up some of the edict damage. It's harder to play against. Like, it's just really nice to have. He had the mana, he had the positioning to get good walls off in both those engagements, I feel, and nothing happened.
yeah, I mean, he's relegating to using Surge on the Chainstun Bat Rider, which accomplishes nothing. He's probably using his higher level Vacuum, trying to help his allies to disengage, which didn't really work out because his positioning wasn't too good. So it's tough for Orange to now, after losing Weaver 5 times in a row now, I believe. I mean, now he's going back to farm, but I think they have dug themselves in a hole that might be too deep to actually climb out of.
One thing I do want to say about the last team fight is something that happened was that Chen actually did not use his center stomp for a long time. He didn't cycle through his centers, I feel, or something happened, and that could have potentially saved them one death or even gotten them one kill. But the Chen has actually been playing pretty phenomenally, so I'm not too sure if I want to
I mean,
actually no, he made a mistake there.
the centaur at least gave them a good retreat path.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
agree, if they use it in the team fight, maybe they didn't even have to retreat. Looks like Rocket's gonna drive net out. The tier 1 tower has gone down. As we're talking about these decision making and item choices for mostly orange, DK has been slowly. Look at this goal graph. It's
He has spike carapace. He reflected the missile. Sorry.
oh
Look at the goal graph. All right.
yeah, the goal
Wow.
graph is kind of going crazy.
That's a pretty cool goal graph. Oh, is that because of all the pauses?
Yeah, it
Oh,
actually
okay, that's
take-
because of all the pauses.
Yeah,
I was
it-
like, they're dead even for like 10 minutes. Oh,
Oh my god, are you having that drop as well, or is it just me?
the drop. That's
Just my
just
computer.
you.
Looks like I have a big spike lag.
Hey, Kawa, Audi.
No, we're
Okay,
okay.
we're good.
We're okay. Again, we're connecting to the Chinese server, which has been pretty wonky today, so I do apologize for the technical difficulties that we're facing. Seems like they're having a little bit of technical.
And I really like this Darkseer. This is 2 times where I feel like Darkseer has needed wall, or the 3rd time actually, where he's needed wall and he just had the extra point of vacuum. If he puts this 4th point into vacuum, I'm going to be very, very disappointed with.
I mean, he's probably gonna do it because that's absolutely the standard, but we'll talk about that later as we see a Flaming Lasso initiation. It's gonna be a Latrec. That is a great target. Unfortunately, his ally can't really develop. Mech comes up from RTK. He's barely survived. He's gonna be absolutely fine. Weaver can't chase through. The Hand of God comes in. The Gemini attack not gonna get the kill. All of that initiation not really falling off.
And he survives with wall HP.
Yep. Well,
He had 140 health at some point. I think that's a wall and an auto attack.
before we hate on the lack of wall any further, just an honest question, because I don't know myself. Can you actually cast everything? Because it's actually a very high mana cost spell, especially if you're saving your mana for a mech, especially if you're not full mana at the beginning of the team fight, and of course, possibility of getting a mana burden. Can you actually cast wall?
I think that you can cast everything. I want to say that I don't like his build as much. I don't really like sewing on Darkseer that much. I like Arcing Boots bottle a lot more, just because it does let you get that early wall, and it's a lot better for your team, I feel. The bottle's also very, it lets you do a lot early game, and Bat Rider's actually going here, so I'll mention this. Okay.
Well,
He
they're
doesn't
gonna
have
just
to
drive them
I-
away
I'm-
and take a tier 1, yeah.
I'm having issues. The bottle really lets you. I love how they just like they send him home and he just blinks in, and it's sort of nice with Firefly because the birds recruits after. Unfortunately, he didn't get any of those CS, but it's a nice idea. The Arcane Boot, the bottle early really allows you to move around the map. If you get a Soul Ring, I feel like you're sort of regulated, just sitting in your lane, creep skipping. Sure, you get a lot of farm, but farm is better when you have more farm compared to your enemies because you sort of screwed up them, you pressured them, than it is if you both just have farm, right? Because Dota's really a game of relativity, right? Like, if they have a lot of stuff and you have a lot of stuff, you're equal. If you have a lot of stuff, if you have like mediocre stuff, but they have bad stuff, then you're in a good position.
Well, yeah, it comes down to hero themselves as well. And
Yeah.
Darkseer, who's a hero that could use a decent go, they had one of the earliest mech. So the Darkseer Soul Ring did do something. But,
Yeah, it definitely helped for that.
but
So,
comparatively, the enemy team did have pretty good farm as well. Looks
and
like
I think
Super's
they're
gonna come back
giving
in.
up this tower.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
they
way
have to
defend this.
because it's just gonna be tough to defend against all of this.
I almost want to say that Orange should have known that they couldn't defend that, and they should have had one more hero going, just pushing mid, getting extra farm. They did have Mushi top, which I think was very good for them. He managed to finish his treads, which is actually quite big. He really needs that tank up against such a heavy nuke lineup, because if you can ever survive and they use the nukes on you, you time-lapse it. That's all these nukes wasted when they need that initial burst in the team fight.
Well, to be fair, a ton of these nukes, or in fact, all of these nukes are AoE. So
Yeah.
even though they hit the Weaver, they're probably hitting somebody else as well. The Firefly's just doing a ton of work. Looks like it's a net into a stomp. Burning getting impaled. Burning getting a second stomp coming through. Hand of God's gonna come through here. Mech as well. A ton of healing of going both sides. The lift back to the side and then backing backwards. Since their Burning's finally gonna go down. Is that a all down stolen? Yes, it was in fact. MMY getting dragged. MMY is gonna get burst down as well. They're gonna return on KYXY. He's finally gonna get burst down by QQQ. Both teams trading back and forth. And look at ROTK, the damage he's outputting Mushi in the middle of the team fight. So chaotic. KYXY buying back. He's looking for blood. He sees QQQ, and I just don't think he will survive. No. Super's gonna provide a little bit of damage. Spam the Spike Carapace. They will get yet another return kill. I'm not sure how QQQ is finding all this mana. Looks like ROTK is gonna get bursted back. DK's on the run. Super. He's getting out of trouble. And that look at the Sakuchi Iron Shell doing a ton of damage. Who the hell won that team fight? No, the net's gonna cancel the TP. And looks like QQQ won't be able to survive that one. I guess with that, it was a victory towards Orange, but they also used double buyback, I think, and Bat Rider died twice in a row.
Yeah, I think they only used one buyback on Batrider here.
Uh-huh.
I think yeah, Weaver he time-lapsed a lot of damage, so
I
maybe
see,
that's
I
what
see.
it's a bit confused. So I think that Orange won that. They defended a tower. They got a lot of kills. Most importantly, they made Burning die. Like when you make a hero like Gyrocopter die, it slows down your farm so much. Just because you die, you go all the way back to Fountain. You have to spend another 135 going to the tower with a TP. And the buyback on the Batrider is not that big a deal. He's not the hero that necessarily needs a lot of farm right now.
He's got the blink.
He already has his blink. You want the Darkseer and the Weaver to be getting all your farm, and they're the ones who survived. Something that happened there was that DK they were quite out of position in that fight. I feel Gyrocopter was way out in the front there, and sure you have a fissure, you have a split earth, you have spike hairbest, you have mech, you have all these things, but it's not going to save you when you're that far up against a Batrider, Rubik, lift, etc. Because they can lift you a position, and that's really what happened.
He didn't have the BKB, and I think he was kind of overstaying his welcome. He was also walking on top of Firefly, and as a result, he was very low before the team fight even broke out.
The fight went actually okay for DK, but what happened was that they blew up the Batrider, I think, when he ball back and went in, right?
He blew him up, and then he bought back and came in.
Oh, okay. No, they blew him up, and over here, down here, he die again? Did he die?
Yes, he died the second time.
Okay, so he died the second time again. But what happened was Lashak was like, hey, they must all be weak, so let me just run in again. And then Lashak died, and on the back end, the Nyx got picked off, and then the Visage got netted. So that poor decision by Lashak to run back in sort of cost them. I think they would have lost 1 on the pickoff, but if they had all spread out in TP, they only would have lost 1 hero rather than 3 that they lost.
Roshan fight's going on right now, but Gyrocopter will pick up the Aegis. We saw Flame Break as well as Swarm being used, trying to scare them away. But at the end of the day, now Gyrocopter gets to play as aggressive as he wants to play with BKB and Aegis up. A big item pickup here. Both sides had huge item pickup because we had a lot of gold being exchanged. Let's quickly talk about those. Net got himself a Staff of Wizardry. Looks like Mushi is going to be going towards that BKB. Actually not finishing the drums, which might ultimately be the correct item choice. I'm not too sure whether his team needs more movement speed. I think more HP is just kind of more important right now. So I like the Ogre Club pickup and not finishing that drums. And Chen looks like he's going to be going for a Scythe of Ice. I'm not sure whether he'll finish it. I personally dislike this item choice. Hex is always one of the best items in the game. I just don't think he will have the room to find the farm to finish that Hex. I think having more of a mid-game item, maybe a Vlad's, maybe a 4-staff on him is a lot more impressive.
That item also suggests that they're trying to take it late game, which isn't that bad of an idea just because Burning went for that very quick BKB. He's not going to be farming as fast. That BKB by Burning is actually a very smart choice because it means that he's basically never going to die in teamfights. They don't have the physical damage to take him down even if he gets lassoed, as long as he gets that BKB off.
Well, so far we'll see whether he can be getting those BKB off.
And one more thing is that I think that Batrider in this game should not be going for the 4-staff. I think he should be going for a quick BKB here.
Yeah, I
because
completely agree.
If you get a BKB, he can get that full lasso off. You get a 4-staff, he's getting stunned by someone.
Spike Carapace.
Yeah, Spike Carapace, Earthshaker, those 2 heroes, like that's 2 heroes where, like normally if it's just a Nyx you can be, oh I'll go on the Nyx, but there's also an Earthshaker. So it's going to be very hard for him to get those lassos off and 4-staff out. Like, it's quick, but it's not instant. And as we've seen by heroes like, people like CTY?
CTY?
Yeah, with his Shadow Demon when he just was able to Eel Scepter the Batrider into air as soon as he lassoed. Like, these players, they have the knowledge of where they should be looking and then the reflexes to actually execute when you blink in and lasso someone.
He's definitely referring to Vichy Gaming and a couple of their games in the Eastern qualifiers, which we're also covering. And of course, the coverage of Eastern qualifier will be back in a couple days. But for now, looks like Mushi might be in a little bit of trouble, as well as the Batrider. Batrider should see them coming. Oh my god, how do they not know? Looks like one has left the building. Mushi's on the run. Skushi running out. The Fissure's going to be missed as well. I'm not sure how he's making it out of there alive. A ton of Sentry are being dropped. Just a single one.
That was
not going to find the kill.
So that was sort of botched by both. Like, they didn't have anything to gain by really staying in those bottom trees. I feel they should have just TP'd out. The lane was a bit more pushed up, so it's not like they would have gotten that much farm. Well, they were actually smoked, so that's why they didn't really see them coming. And the Nyx, the smoke broke, so he knew they were there. I feel like he should have just went for the Batrider, because that would have sort of guaranteed them this bottom tier 2. Right now they can fight it because Batrider is still alive. Weaver, sure you kill him, but Batrider has a spam, and like you firefight in front of the tower, you spam it with your W, you can defend.
Well, I think they were just happy to get any kills. We see a ton of nukes being traded back and forth, and again, Burning's kind of the big hero to look at right now. He's low HP, he's gonna get earned back up, and these birds are getting harassed back and forth. Somebody trying to nuke it with the Fable? Yeah, that doesn't work. But the big thing is that it's the most important thing to watch House for is whether Burning gets off his BKB as he gets initiated on, and whether Bat Rider can even get the BKB, get the lasso off without getting blown apart. It's so hard to actually for him to initiate. Let's not forget about that. These familiars are actually kind of cutting off the initiation path. As we see
they stunned the Bat Rider.
They stunned the Bat Rider, and that Bat Rider's on the run. He's got Surge. Is he blinking himself out? Not against that dot block either. KYXY is huge trouble. He eats a fissure. He's done. Great play. I'm not sure how Burning got to the back end of that team fight. It looks like he's activated his own BKB. Tier 2's going down, and one person dead. I think you go on the high ground. Quick item, quick level check. Darkseer got himself a level 2, and he's got himself, or level 12, excuse me. He's got himself that wall, and he could be looking to drop it, but it's so hard to actually go back. Buyback's gonna come back from the Bat Rider a second time, whacking wall on top. Huge damage output into a big flame break downwards, and looks like the Dire team is all getting blown. RTK is gonna die as well. Great focus fire here being done out by Orange Esport. They're looking for the last final kill. It's gonna be they did get the Aegis. Looks like they're gonna get him the second kill on Burning. Burning trying to run from left to at least save his allies. They're not. Oh, it looks like the Bird's gonna get one kill from QQQ. He's gonna try to turn around and get a kill on Mushi. I just don't think it's gonna work here. Stun coming out, another stun. QQQ throwing out a couple of nukes, knowing that he's not gonna make him alive. Here's the big thing that I've noticed in that team fight. Great AoE damage being focused out. They were able to kill everybody except Leshrac first. If you kill Leshrac first with that Blusto, he's gonna heal everybody up to a moderate amount of HP. But they focused down. It was the Earthshaker first. It was the Nyx Assassin second, and then Burning. And then they kill ROTK, in which case Bloodstone actually did nothing there.
Yeah, that is really good focus fire in there. And that started by the Rubik basically baiting them in because he had buyback. He just sat there and he got Lashrak stunned.
Oh,
and
you
then
mean Bat Rider?
No, the Rubik got Lashrak stunned over here. And then Gyro drops his ulti on him, and Visage uses Soul Assumption on him.
I see.
So, and then they started to overcommit, and Bat Rider and Rubik both brought back, and were able to turn that around with a really great wall. One thing that, I mean, it doesn't really matter for a fight, but I think Visage actually could have lived there if he had TP'd and then he had for him to not be stunned by centers, TP'd and then used both birds to chain stun. But that would have been like lucky at best, hoping that no one else has stunned it. I would have liked to see him try it though.
It would have been definitely a great play.
That would have been the highlight reel.
If he made it out against 4 people surrounding him. But I mean, how's the game looking right now? It was one team fight victory after another for DK. They got themselves a Roshan. Now suddenly they basically threw away Aegis. Well, not exactly throw away, as we see initiation on the mid lane right now, and I don't think ROTK will survive. Not only did they get another kill on ROTK, they lower his Bloodstone charges.
He's at 3.
Yeah, he's at 3 right now. So
I mean, before that, I was going to say that DK is still in a fine spot. What that team fight, all that team fight allowed to happen was that Weaver is now back in the game. Previous to that team fight, Weaver was a non-factor. He was too under leveled, he didn't have the items, he didn't really have the damage output to do anything. But now he has his BKB, he's going to finish his drums, I think. And I feel like if he gets an, I believe MKB probably this game, he'll actually be able to have some damage output and make some stuff happen. Burning's go for a MKB here, which it's quite good on Gyrocopter. I mean, because the highest sort of single target damage, like single damage as a plus, like 88 compared to Breeze's, I think it's 81, Butterfly is 60.
Do you feel maybe a helm into a Satanic? I mean, it's a little bit defensive, it's not going to put as much damage output, but I mean, you're going to survive, I assume.
I really like these defensive item pickups when you're ahead. So I would agree with, I would have probably preferred just like, okay, here's what I would have preferred. I would have preferred he went phase and then drums and then BKB first of all.
Okay.
It would have delayed their sort of like 5-man big push a little bit, but he was so far ahead of the Weaver that he could have completed his drums BKB before Weaver got his BKB, and then they would have had a really nice timing where Jalop does a little bit more damage.
They were pushing the tier 1 up top when he had nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I think he had that Ogre Club, and then the Weaver fed twice. They were pushing bot tier 2 when he kind of got a little bit out of position, which is rare for Burning, but he did. He also had nothing there. He could have got drums anytime he wanted, but it seems like he was just rushing straight for the BKB.
I mean, the BKB is really nice, but I just feel like if he had just positioned himself perhaps a bit more defensively, he wouldn't have needed it so early.
Right.
So, I mean, it's okay. He still has this ancient stack going with that. For some reason, they're trying to kill with all the other heroes but the one with the AoE. That's a bit weird. So, but he's going to have that ancient stack, so he's going to still be farming at a pretty fast rate. He already has his MKB, and this is a Gyro 4 dash. Like, Burning is farming quite well. Unfortunately, they smoked a bit early. I think the Ancients didn't stack because Lashak got invis by the smoke.
Well, looks like, let's see if they can pick off anybody with a smoke. Vendetta
This-
being used right now by Super.
It feels like a sort of a weird smoke. I mean, they don't have anyone else on the map, so I doubt that Orange will be like, hey, let's just go.
Kill the gyro
Yeah.
with this BKB. Yeah, I don't
so
think.
I don't know why they're sort of smoking to like bait a BKB gyro. That's a bit obvious, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I mean, it's not that much of a waster. They can get in a really good position, and there's always that chance that if Orange engages them, they just win the game.
Right.
And sometimes it's 100 gold and a smoke for a chance to win the game. And the reason I say 100 gold and a smoke is because the gold is like, okay, it's 100 gold, it's not that much, but the smoke cooldown of 10 minutes is quite long, and it really hinders you when you start running all those late game. I would have preferred if they had used that smoke maybe like 30 seconds later, because then it would secure them Roshan.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't take a fight, they would have, hey, they're really far from us, let's go do it.
Yeah.
Or Orange would have had been like, hey, Roshan's up, we need to go contest. Oh, look, 5 smoke here. Oh, we're dead.
Right. I mean, it's not exactly the best smoke, which is something that I do want to gripe a little bit about the Chinese. Their smokes have been becoming less and less effective because it's becoming more and more predictable. They smoke when, they have lots of racks and there's creeps in their base. And obviously, the enemy team does know about smoke. Now, obviously, smoke still give you the added benefit of being able to travel as a group very far or very fast, and you get to dodge wards, which is always good. It's just that, again, it's a 100 gold, but more importantly, the 10-minute cooldown, which it really hurts in kind of long, drawn-out games where you need like use 3 or 4 smokes
Like,
at the same time.
one example of this would be, since there's a little bit of downside, I just want to talk about this. Say all the tier 2s are down on Radiant side, and you're pushing in bottom this way, right? So you're pushing in bottom. What you can do is you wait for top to push, you push bottom, and you smoke around all the way like this. And then you get onto the high ground at top, and you have a really good position, you get tower damage, and their team has to rotate all the way back here, and they're not in really good position. So pushing a base isn't hard because they have a tier 3 tower. It's hard because they have a positional advantage. You have to go into a choke, they're all set up to be spread out, but when they're coming in like that, they're not spread out anymore, and you can easily get the tower in most scenarios.
Well, speaking of those smokes, Orange has used one themselves. They're getting in position, setting up shop right next to the Roshan. I love their warding coverage as well. It's like anytime, whatever angle that the Radiant team's going to be coming from, they will see them coming in. They see themselves with this particular observed ward, and they're looking to initiate. Firefly being popped, Haste being popped as well, thanks to Surge.
Here's sort of, like, it's sort of nice that the Visage Birds are scaling Roshan, but I feel like if those Visage Birds had been bottom pushing, then they could force someone from Orange to go back bottom and defend it. They would have top pushing in, and then they could go for Roshan because 2 heroes are defending. So I feel like this split push by the birds is not being utilized enough. It's also a lot of farm to the Visage, who is not that bad with items. He's actually quite good with items.
Well, you've been talking about split pushing with Visage for the longest time, and nobody against so far is doing it. They will get a deny with those birds on the mid lane, get a couple stuns as well. Again, I mean, right now DK is playing somewhat of a defensive position. The initiation power is coming in from Orange, but here we go. I'm gonna try one more time. KYXY surged up, Fireflied up. He see himself a QQQ, but I think the birds also see him. The birds get
the
no,
birds,
they have no
see
vision.
the fire now, but they have like 100 vision.
Yeah, they have no vision, but they do have flying vision. So if there is a ward down, then they could see it very far. And it's gonna be dewarding a little bit.
See, this is like, I feel like the teams are gonna 5-man. Like this is, I hate to like keep saying it, but like teams are gonna 5-man in this area for quite a long. Can you see me when I draw in the moon map? Well, around the Roshan pit for like quite a bit. They're gonna be farming the jungle. I burped. Excuse me. Cal was laughing at me. It must be the honey mustard or whatever that was that Audi gave me
I
to
think
drink.
sake, which is taped on my
Oh,
cup.
that's for you. I'm not 21. Apparently, I can't drink here.
Yeah. But yes, they were 5-manning next to the Roche
so
pit.
if you can get push going at top, which is very far from Roshan, because the Visage Birds do very good damage versus creeps, they do very good damage versus towers, you can force them to TP, and then you can either smoke wrap around through the jungle, like wrap around towards your tier 2 bottom, and then, yeah, that way, well, as DK, so going the other way.
Okay.
The
So
opposite of those arrows.
there you go.
They could sort of catch them off guard as they have to sit sort of closer to Roshan, or they could just go for Roshan. And if you use a smoke, the Orange sort of has to take a 50-50 guess. I mean, they do have a Chen creep in there, but they could do that after clearing all the Chen creep. It's pretty easy to kill first.
Yeah, I mean, generally you see when you're doing this kind of 5-man camp on both sides on the Roshan pit, teams with things like Tinker or Nature's Prophet or Clockwork Rocket even have so much added benefit because you get a slight amount of split push. It forces the enemy team to react, and then you always have the first jump, and that's kind of what Aoi's referring to with those birds.
Something I would really have liked them to do actually that I just sort of thought of is they force someone to go top with the Visage Birds. They run into Roshan, kill the Shen creep. They smoke out and run towards top, cut off that hero and get a solo kill, and then fight a 4v5.
And as the hero runs down to the Roshan,
I mean, in theory, it sounds pretty good to me. But I mean, there is maybe Weaver bugs the Roshan pit. They see they're not in there, it doesn't work. But sometimes like little risks like that can have like giant rewards that just win you the game. And I mean, maybe it's a little bit too cute and not solid enough, not guaranteed enough, but I think it could work. And Burning actually picks up an Alpha Wolf. This is actually really good for taking Roshan now.
just for the raw damage output.
Yeah, you kill him so fast with Alpha Wolf.
Well, we'll see. There's a Centaur still right there. They have to kind of break that one apart. Are they going to walk in?
I find it sort of weird that they haven't checked inside to kill that Centaur. That Centaur's giving them a lot of information.
Well, they think that there's nothing in there because of Visage Birds, but again, the Visage Birds...
They don't see anything.
Yeah, there's no vision, so... both teams actually not knowing that the enemy team does have the vision of the Roche Pit.
I mean, one benefit of not using the Visage Bridge to split push is that Zhao gets to farm so much at top there. He got, what, like 1,000, I don't want to say 1,000, like, well, he's going to get 1,000 gold by killing that and pushing the lane out. And when you're pushing with Visage Bridge, it doesn't let you do that. But I feel like the added pressure and the fact that if it goes to a tower, they start losing creeps to the tower, which means that no one gets a gold, is worth the fact that Zhao doesn't get that additional gold. Just because when you're ahead, solidifying your advantage by shutting down their farm is a bit better than getting more of your own farm, in my opinion, because relatively 10,000 gold lead means more when both teams have left gold.
Right.
So you want to maintain, you want to sort of keep their gold down rather than increase yours more. In most cases, I mean, there are some scenarios where you do want just more when you have the clearly better late game, which maybe that's what DK is thinking, because they do have a really good late game with Agile. They do have a lot of stuns to back them up. And Weaver's, he's okay late game, but not when you're this far behind.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to slowly accrue items. Up to 3k gold right now, but the big item pickup so far...
And another smoke by Orange here. I feel like they're just like, every team's just using their smokes and not really accomplishing anything with them.
Well, maybe this one's going to be a little bit different because Bat Riders have the surge, and of course Ohio's slowly pushing it. They could Firefly and initiate. If they could grab one to the low ground, that would be big. By the way,
is pretty big on Bat Rider, and he is going for that BKB.
Satanic has been picked up on the Gyrocopter. That's a big one. And there's also a Scythe Vice being picked up on Chen. So slowly, the Radiant, both teams is going for some late game KYXY surging up where he sees Ohio. Is that the one? No, he wants on Super, but he gets spiked, and now he's going to get focused. Look at how easily gets brought down. You're absolutely right. He needs the BKB to make that jump. No BKB, you get easily blown up.
One thing I do want to mention is just to give props to this Chen. He has a Hex at 40 minutes, and he's 6-0-10.
Yeah, hasn't died.
He hasn't died as a Chen. To a Nyx, to a Visage, like, they have the heroes to kill Chen.
Or anybody, actually.
Yeah, or, well, anyone, yeah. And he's got the farm. He's had really on point Hand of Gods. I mean, the one mistake was that he didn't center Storm early enough at top, but he still got it off so they could retreat. But this looks like a free Roshan for DK right now. Battle is dead. Orange is just going top. They're gonna get like what 400 damage to this tower if they commit. If the Weaver tries to hit it, but it's not that much. Like they're DK's. This is the free Roshan.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Orange is making a lot of unforced errors, which is something we kind of talked about in a previous cast. Remember that earlier? Remember when Weaver was 0-2? He was literally Sakuchi into a trialing with a whole bunch of stuns. He didn't need to do it because the mid and top lane were winning at that point in the game. And I'm not sure why they even initiated on, because they could easily scout the Roche Pit if they want to by using a Flame Break. Why did they initiate without a BKB bat? Like,
I'm not sure. I feel like their best chance was to get that BKB on bat and just
then initiate.
Be able to post one out and secure that kill. And instead of it being a 4v5 because you have no bat because he's dead, you would have a 4v5 going the other way with some of your cooldowns out, but still a 4v5. One other thing is that Weaver, like, we noted that he played really risky at bottom. He paid for it. It did not turn out well. I feel like he also in the team fights, he sort of just Shikuchi'd and ran into them all. I think that when you're behind on a carry, you can't just... When you're behind on a carry and it's a solo carry, this isn't a dual core, it's not a tri-core. So you basically have to do all the damage here.
Right.
You can't just go into a team fight, say, hey, I want to do as much damage as possible. You need to do as much damage as possible and live. Like the living comes first before doing damage. Like it's more important for you to live than getting 1 kill in a team fight or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you do a lot of damage, allow your supports to pick up a couple kills, which, by the way, I guess Chen has been picking up a ton of them. If you die and you don't get the glory of those kills, like the assist gold or the EXP, you're going to be in the next team fight a little bit behind compared to Burning, for example, who, by the way, if you look at him, is a stack as it gets. He's sieging the tier 2 right now. They know that he's going to be absolutely safe in the front with Satanic BKB and Aegis. He's just charging forward. Super's going to come out in this like he doesn't care.
Vendetta hits the tower.
Hey.
I mean, he knows that he's not
Yeah.
going to get a Vendetta.
Yeah, he's
no,
not
I
gonna
just
get
found
a
that
hit
cute.
Looks like we have a little bit of burst on the back line.
Oh,
The
hey,
Vision's
that's
going to come
bombed
through
off.
as well. They can focus on Mushi. Forces him to time lapse, which is not a bad victory by enemies. Calldown's going to get used. Burning taking a ton of tower damage. Mech's going to use. They have an urn, right, I believe?
Yeah, he has Satanic too. And
Yeah, looks
he
like
wasn't
we're gonna
blocked. I lied about that one. But yeah, they're just gonna slowly siege this down. They can't really go into Lashak. They can't really go into Gyro because his Aegis has Satanic. Lashak has BKB and Bloodstone. So this is looking quite bad for Orange here.
Yeah, Burning is actually taking a ton of damage, but he could disengage. Looks like the Flaming Lasso is going to come right up. Spike Parapets a little bit too late. The backing wall, they got to hit a beautiful one. Unfortunately, nobody's focusing Burning. He's actually popping the Satanic. Now taking a ton of damage. Looks like, again, disengage from DK. They have a ton of healing. They have a ton of urn. They can back off, urn up, and go right back. His Flaming Lasso is down. The wall, you could wait that one out as well. I felt like Orange has thrown basically everything they can throw, and they're out of bullets right now.
I
At
mean,
least
they do have 2 hexes. They have one on the Darkseer. They have one on the Chen. But I feel like it's not enough.
they don't have enough damage on Mushi
Yeah,
to
they-
really take advantage of those
Like,
hexes.
they can be disabled. If you don't kill them, it doesn't matter.
Well, nice flame break tossing back as well, but they really need that wall. Looks like
Burning's
Mushi,
actually cut off here, but I don't think
he's,
it
again,
matters.
he gets
good
force
force
out from his
staff.
ally. Great play. Still has that Aegis. Satanic cooling down once again. The Rax is slowly being focused down, and I'm lagging.
Are you lagging?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
look for your team.
Yeah,
Look from your.
They're fissuring. They got bugs on 5 heroes, which really does help. Nyx hits stun on Chen, and Burning goes down. The Aegis is down. Weaver managed to pick off the Leshrac, but the Bloodstone actually kills everyone. Echo Stun comes out on the Weaver, and they're gonna focus him down. I think. No, he gets the time lapse off. This let him do quite a bit of damage. This is actually looking a lot better for Orange than it should.
Burning though pops Satanic, and now he's just man-mulling everybody at the flat cannon. In conjunction with Satanic, just kills everybody.
Wow.
There's
He
a
just-
buyback from Mushi. Just too much damage. Another second
Lasso.
flame break comes in as well. They're going to be focusing on Burning. He's out of his shields. He gets tossed back and forth. Can he lamp out this one? He gets lifted. He's done. He does kill himself a Rubik before dying. So MNY TP's out of there. What a bad time to have a lag for me. But I do, hopefully that you guys saw the tail end of that team fight. For me, I felt like Rubik has been playing beautifully throughout these team fights.
He
He's
got
been
that-
stealing things like Fissure. He's been stealing things like Call Down. He's stealing some of the best spells in the game.
He really has, and DK's lineup actually has pretty much all the spells that you want. I
Right.
mean, other than like a Ravage or a Black or something like that. But these small spells like Lashrak Stun and Earthshaker Stuns are actually my favorite to take. because-
Without the cast animation.
Yeah, without the cast animation, it's just so good. You spam the lanes out, you have a lot of lockdown, you have a lot of nuke. But at the end of the day, they killed. That did not go that badly for Orange, even though they had to use a. Well, if they didn't have to use a buyback on Weaver, that would have gone really well for them. But again, he had to buy back. They did manage to bring down Burning plus the Aegis, which is, I would say, a bit unexpected. He's really, really far ahead of everyone right now. He has a Satanic. He has a team to back him up. But one thing that happened was Leshrac died with his Bloodstone when Burning wasn't alive. He was in the Aegis, so he's missing
he
that
didn't get the
extra.
heal.
He's missing that extra 490 HP that he would have gotten. But
I mean, the
It
other
helps.
big thing is because the Rubik is playing so well, the
Yeah.
Fissure's blocking him off. He's
the Rubik managed to lift him, I think, twice that fight, plus stun him twice with other spells. He's definitely locking him down. They had those 2 hexes, which also really helps. If you can ever manage to hex someone who has Satanic on, that's the entire Satanic duration. Something that I want to see some team do in the future, maybe not this game, is that you have a BKB and a Satanic on your carry. What you do is you get a Diffusal Blade on one of your allies, so when they sheep your carry and overcommit on
you
him,
know,
they
does
can,
that work?
Yeah,
You could diffuse your.
you can purge the sheep off, and you get BKB Satanic off, and turn the entire team fight around. So I mean, this isn't really a game for it, just because they don't really have that good a Diffusal holder. But it would be actually, well, I mean, if Nyx had gone for it, it would have been really cool to see.
Well, there is double hex, so if the game does last long enough, it's definitely a viable item choice. He's been working a ton of utility item, Ghost Scepter, Force Staff, now a Vid Booster as well. All of these small type value items. They're looking to break the high ground right now and just go for the win. Burning, by the way, Satanic up. He could go for the full butterfly if he wants to do so. I just don't think they need to take that risk. He could just stay for buyback if the game gets a little bit kind of completely. I guess if you get team wipe, they could even take your min racks. There is a slight possibility of that. He's playing really, really safe.
I mean, I think this is sort of where the Western scene and Eastern scene differentiates. In my opinion, he. Actually, I don't even know. Like, my team would tell me to buy the item.
Right. And you would have just gone.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have pushed with it. We would have bought the item. We would have still stuck as 5. But we think that if they ever go on us with the next item, we can just win that fight. But maybe not. Like, this scenario, I'm not too sure what we would do. You sort of have to be playing in the game, seeing how they feel like. They don't have complete information like us, right? They don't know that Weaver has, like, 10k less than Burning right now.
Right.
So it's very hard for them to make a call like that. And this is the safe choice for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw Loda making somewhat of a safer choice as well earlier when they had. I mean, he was almost immortal, but he was still saving a buyback. There was just absolutely zero chance for the enemy team to win. And this is sort of the. You see, the thing is, it's not really as guaranteed win as people think. If somehow they manage to take a team fight before you get buyback and item, sure, you have buyback. But if they take a very favorable fight, and he actually finishes it without buyback. So. Well, he's gonna get buyback by the time.
He probably will.
Yeah.
Oh no, he definitely will. See, this is very smart by Burning. He looks at his reliable gold. He has 1502 reliable gold. Buyback is only 1500 right now.
For now, because.
For now, but it might inch up. So if he dies like right away, he won't have it. Once it's like in like 10 seconds. But you know, most likely a hero or a tower will die before that have enough of reliable gold. He loses how much gold? What level is he? So he loses 630 gold. So he needs like.
I'll let you do the math.
He needs what, like 632 gold, because the buyback is freaking 1504.
Oh man.
I did my notification. Okay, I just wasn't thinking of the reliable gold. My bad. I wasn't thinking I needed to add to the reliable gold. But yeah. Hey, Canadian education is rated very high, OD. Just saying.
It's
a lot higher than the States.
Definitely better than American education. I can tell you that one. But let's actually go back in the game here. Another key item pick up here. Weaver has himself an MKB. The damage output is actually pretty impressive, especially being able to match up against a Butterfly that just got finished by Gyrocopter. A Cypher Vice got picked up on ROTK, so not only is he tanky with his Bloodstone and BKB, now he could be an even bigger offensive threat. Looks like both teams are running into each other. Cypher on Mushi. The Chain Echo Suns are going to come right through. Force Staff out attack. Hand of God. Everything comes through. Mushi pops to BKB after a time lapse. While in vacuum, can you turn it around? Mushi, though, unfortunately, is on the run from that flag. Burning says, I don't care where you are. I got 1,000 range, and I'm just shredding everybody apart. End of the fight, it's going to be Bat Rider and Chan going down, and everybody, all the ultimates on the Radiant side are down.
I feel like that was actually pretty well played as a fight by Orange, considering the position they're calling from. They managed to save the Weaver. They had a 4-staff on him, they had Mech on him, they had Chen He on him, but the disadvantage was just too much. They played the fight as well as they could have hoped to from that position, but man.
I just don't think they come back from this, because DK's going to get a second Rex. They'll have something to say about this. Nice play. Look at the steal on the fissure was huge, but looks like Mushi's going to get Scythe. He's going to get Hex. He's trying to time-lapse. The birds are stunning. The 4-staff trying to push him across. It does not matter. The chain stunning of DK just a step ahead. Just a step ahead of Orange. And because of that, as a result, DK is going to get the second lane.
I think this is... No, they have a tier 2. I mean, I don't think they're going to go fully for these two first. As soon as Bat Rider respawns, they're going to just sort of back up a bit here. But this is definitely a good choice just to get a bit of damage here. Maybe they're even committing.
I mean, they have Edict. They definitely...
Yeah, they have... I mean, they have 4 heroes in the base. They don't have a Weaver. You don't have a Nyx. That's in your favor at this point in the game.
Oh my god, the birds are stunning KYXY multiple times. Should allow them to... Oh no, the high Cypher Vice forcing them back as well. There's a glyph being forced out. DK perhaps really overstaying their welcome. They could just go back, regroup, and go for it. But no, they're saying, we're going to win the game right now.
I mean, they all buy back anyways.
Yeah, so. They do. Vacuum to Fissure, kind of like a mini RP, sort of.
Sort of. Except less
damage, less stunnage, less RPH. If you call it, looks like they're gonna initiate against Burning, but where's the damage coming out? Mushi's not there. Second wall gets dropped. Vacuum's not gonna follow. They're Burning down to about half HP, but he's got the BKB. He's got the Satanic.
Mineski would have put him in their fountain.
Well. This is not Mineski. This is DK Dota. They're here to finish some business. They're here to try to win the game. Calldown's going to get used, and I do believe the Ancient Throne will go down. GG well played gets called. And DK goes 0-3. This was a must-win situation for them. They won the game. This is one of the longest casts that we have ever done because of all the tech issues. But how do you feel about both teams played throughout?
I think I felt like DK's draft was a bit better in my opinion.
Well, they have Visage, so obviously.
Yeah, well, that's why. I mean, I said at the beginning that it felt a bit static to me, but as I saw the game sort of unfold, well, actually, no, I liked Orange Drafts more. At
No, it was
start.
Orange Draft. It was working out beautifully, right? They
Yeah.
won top lane. They won mid. It was Mushi
It was-
making risky plays.
Yeah, I liked, like, DK, their draft, if they ever got ahead like that against a draft like Orange's, they sort of, you can't stop them. You can't stop them from just continuing to farm, taking small team fights. But I feel like if Mushi had perhaps not died those 2 times, gotten a bit more farm, they would have been in a bit of a better position.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was looking at the drafts, I wasn't even really considering how poorly that Batrider was. He couldn't do anything in team fights. It wasn't even poorly played. He just, there's too much stuff that stops him in team
Fissure,
fights.
Spike,
Yeah,
Split Earth, everything.
everything. So I didn't really consider that in my initial thing. So the only way Orange was really winning that is if they snowballed out of control and just completely outfarmed and got Weaver with a lot of items so that he could kill that Gyrocopter. And when you need Weaver to have more items than a Gyrocopter, it's sort of hard just because the farm rates are so different between the 2 heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So
They need to shut down Burning hard. Weaver need to get solo kills or not die multiple times, which none of that happened. So that's going to conclude our final analysis. Let's send it back to a very well-rested Blitz as well as LD.
Welcome back, guys, to the desk. Wow, that was a grueling game. The teams, I mean, the actual runtime on the game, around 51.5 minutes, a little bit longer, but probably was close to 80, 90 minutes with all the delays, with all the pauses. Felt like the game was a bit disjointed because of those delays, because of those pauses. But in the end, DK prevails, and I have to agree with AUI. I feel like you look at this draft for RNG Sports, they ran a 1-position Weaver. That was their only real DPS, and generally that's a pretty risky proposition. It can work against some teams if you snowball, but it's hard to snowball against DK, especially when they pick Visage, Earthshaker, all these strong defensive heroes in the laning stage. The other thing that I felt like was they didn't have the best lineup to break the base. They did have a Batrider, but like AUI mentioned, hard for him to actually get off a good lasso and then jump away because you're just dealing with so much counter-initiate, so much stuns, and a lot of tanky heroes too. So I felt like I wouldn't call it a draft loss. It was just a harder to execute draft for RNG Sports. And even though it was fantastic Chen play from Extinct, he really showed that he's one of the better Chen players in the world. Wasn't enough in the end. Now RNG Sports, they dropped to 2-2 in the group, so this puts LGD at 3-1 in a slightly more comfortable position.
Yeah, this looks like now I don't know if LGD has a way of actually not getting top 4, so
They will be playing Orange later, so if LGD actually loses to Orange, then I think Orange would actually be ahead of them because they have that head-to-head tiebreaker.
but doesn't that mean both would still move on, right? Because they'd have enough wins.
I
This
think
is a good game.
both of these teams are pretty much guaranteed to be second and third. I can't run through all the scenarios in my head now, but you look at the standings, it seems hard to see how they wouldn't advance. And I mean, for DK, they might still have a really long outside shot, but that's it at best. They got to win out to even have a chance.
Yeah, but this was a pretty impressive win to do it. I mean, like you said, Orange had a really difficult strategy to execute, but the Weaver pick as a carry, I actually kind of liked it here just because against a team like that, if your Weaver can get large enough and difficult to kill, then he becomes really mobile, and then you can just kind of wreak havoc. You can kill supports like that, but the lineup wasn't so much for Protect 1 as it used to be, the old DK, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you had a really good lineup to protect Burning from taking a lot of damage. If Burning, he's not a guy that really gets out of position ever, but if he did get out of position at all that game as Gyrocopter, then he had so many stuns to back him up,
Yeah.
and so many long-range initiates that he has such a large margin of error to go in with.
And that goes the other way, right? It works against the Weaver as well. Weaver
Yeah.
has to be in close all over the fight. That's where Fissure, the Visage Birds, all those follow-up stuns makes it really hard for Weaver to have an impact, unless he snowballs, and Mushi just didn't have that really powerful start.
Yeah, he took some risks that game that I don't think he necessarily had to, and then dying, I mean, it set him so far behind at that point, and I mean, Gyrocopter will just naturally farm better just because of the flat cannon, so
Yeah, it's a better one-position carry.
exactly. So it's necessary for Weaver not to die as much because that's where you're going to be ahead with the invis. But on top of that, Weaver is a hero that you kind of need to take risks like that, because you want to get ahead, and it is a hero that is better at killing.
Yeah.
So it was just like they were kind of walking this like really thin line of having to play it nearly perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their lineup, like, in theory, you can see how they win the game. Weaver snowballs, has a really fast start. Darkseer gets a really early mech. Batrider, a fast blink. They start taking aggressive fights. They dive the towers. They pick off a hero like Earthshaker. They break behind the defenses of DK. They take all the outer towers, and then they starve them. If they are able to do that, I think they could have won that game, but it's just it's a strategy when you're up against so much counter initiate and you're up against a defensive team in general by nature and DK. Kind of suits their fancy. They would love for you to be forced to really take fights that are going to be difficult. I don't know if I call them low percentage plays, but not the easiest fights. So in the end, Orange Esports, they'll drop this match. They're not out of it yet. They are 2-2 in the group. Kawa, I think we can bring up the group standings one more time, and then we'll take a look at our schedule. So right now, this sets things up where LGD Gaming has the inside track to take second place. That would guarantee them a top 3 finish in the bubble race format. As for Orange, they can still take second, I believe, but they have to beat LGD. That match is coming up in 2 games, but coming up next is going to be IG versus Liquid. For Liquid, 0-3. I mean, at this point, even if they can't advance, I think they still have an outside shot, but it's also just about pride. I mean, you don't want to go all the way to China, walk away with 0 wins. So that match coming up next is going to be IG versus Liquid. And Kawa, if we can take a full look at the schedule now, we'll see what's remaining for today, because we have 4 matches. You don't see the last one yet. Actually,
Yeah, we do.
do I have the wrong schedule? Okay. So this isn't the right schedule, guys. It's going to be IG versus Liquid coming up next, followed by Orange versus LGD, and then IG versus Alliance. Our final match of the evening will be DK versus Alliance. Kawa will get that updated, and he'll show it to you during the break. But for now, that's going to conclude Orange versus DK. Congratulations to DK. They finally get a point on the board. They get a win. They might still have a shot, but they have to win out to be able to advance out of this group stage. By the end of today, 2 teams are going home, and another 3 teams, well, they're going to have a long road ahead of them if they want to defeat Alliance, who's already guaranteed to be waiting in the grand finals. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's going to be IG versus Liquid. Stay tuned for that.